Hello, we are here with episode 8 of the Keep It Rollin' podcast. We just got done with our competition class, so we just got done rolling, but we are going to keep it rolling with the podcast. I'm Kyle Perkins. I'm here with Joey Deal.
Hello.
And Marco Benitez.
Benitez.
We were close.
Benitez.
I'm getting there. I'm going to get him one day.
Yeah. That reminds me of Joseph Benitez.
Joseph Benitez.
Remember him?
Yeah, he was a beast.
Wild MMA fighter.
Yeah, he was jiu-jitsu. Joe, right? Jiu-jitsu?
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he's a beast.
So, Marco, how was training tonight? This was your
great.
first competition class, right?
Yeah, with you guys. Yep, it was good. It was nice because you guys already know Friday nights are tough for me, with the kids and everything. But I told my wife, I'm like, babe, you got the kids tonight. I'm doing this podcast. We're doing the comp class, and I was excited though. I was like, no, I was ready to go. Came in.
So, what, did she have objections? Where she's like,
no,
for a podcast, you're gonna leave me here alone
Me and the children
with 20 kids. No, how many kids you have?
Two
kids.
I mean, feels like 20 right now. Shoot, but no, she's really cool about it though, because she knows I don't usually go for nights. She knows we set those ground rules even when we first started getting together. She knew I was already training before that. So I'm like, you got to accept this. You know what I mean? It's either gonna be one or the other, because I didn't want to get in anything that's like, oh, you're gone. She knew the deal. So I set pretty much all the ground rules first. When we first started dating. So I'm just like, yeah.
That jiu-jitsu was a part of your life?
Yeah.
And was it jiu-jitsu that was part of the ground rules there?
No, it was honestly at that point. It was.
Well, how long have you been training?
So 2016 is when I started though. That was
wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been a while, but I would say I had a couple breaks. So the one with COVID, obviously, that was, well, in the when I was in the Navy and everything, they kind of made nobody do anything. So when it came to any kind of training, they were super strict. They were like, you guys can't even go to gyms. Kind of like
really?
The real world. I mean, you would think. I mean,
so I've only known you since you've been out of the Navy. So you were in the Navy during COVID?
Yep, in the Navy during COVID.
Yeah, well, I want to get this whole story.
No, it was crazy. Yeah,
I don't know enough about Marco.
Yeah.
I feel like we know you so well, but we don't know you that well.
No, especially because I was thinking the same. Because mornings, it's it kind of
6 a.m.
sucks because I have
class.
to go to work, and sometimes I'll stick around and talk a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't get to talk like I want to talk. You know what I mean? I love
it's
talking
not
to
like
you guys.
the night classes. People hang out for sometimes 2 hours after class just talking.
Yep.
Because no one wants to just go to bed.
Yep.
But you have to go to work in the morning.
No, right, and I'm used to that too. Because even before I had kids, I mean, it was mainly nights. I couldn't find a lot of morning classes. So for me, I was used to that too, and I love that just environment of everyone just talking after the rolls, and you know what I'm saying,
Yeah, a lot of camaraderie between people. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what got you into jiu-jitsu? When did you start?
So I started I guess we can, trail back to when so it was. I was initially looking for it was funny listening to, so me and Kenny we kind of talk about it sometimes we have a lot of similarities. So I was listening to his podcast, and I like boxing. So even before I got into jiu-jitsu and even joined the Navy, I boxed a little bit, nothing crazy. You know what I mean? Just here and there, whatever. But when I got down there, I was looking for a boxing gym. I'm like, you know what? I want something to take up some of my time.
Down where? Where did you say?
In Virginia.
In Virginia.
Yeah. So I was home ported in Virginia for that was the home port, but the way it works,
Yeah, so I don't know much about the Navy.
I'll break it up. So you can be home ported in a state. So let's say for me, I was in Virginia, so that was my home ported area. But you get deployed out, so you can get deployed, wherever you go. You can have a rotation of 6 months or whatever, guys rotate in and out. But you could be in a main state. So I was in Virginia, home ported for about 4 years. But when I got down there, I was just looking.
So do you have a home then, in Virginia, or you're just at the base?
Yeah, that's how it works though. It's crazy because usually, I mean, for me, since I was in the Navy, everyone thinks, oh, you're a big ship, this and that.
Yeah, in my head, I'll tell you my vision.
Yeah, I want to hear it. Yeah.
If you're in the Navy, I just assume you sleep on a boat.
Yeah,
at all times.
So let me ask you my first ignorant question off what you said. Are all the port states that you can be in coastal?
Virginia's not.
Yeah.
Wait.
Well,
yeah,
no, it is. Yeah. No. Yeah.
I don't know. Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say explicitly that it was, but I was pretty sure it was. I was going to let him answer first before I confidently said, "You idiot."
Virginia Beach. Yeah.
No, but yeah. So they have.
Wait, that's in the middle of the country.
So does Kansas have a naval base?
But they have commands that could be in a Kansas, but when it comes to ships and where I was at, so I always break it down, and sometimes I'm just you know what, you talk to regular, civilians about it, and they're kind of oh, they kind of get it. But when I really break it down, for me, I was never on a big ship. So I was on the Navy Expeditionary Combat Command side of it. So I was boots on ground, which means I was never on a big ship. I work with small boats. And
cool.
That was actually something I wanted to do because even before I joined initially, I was trying to kind of do SWIC, which is like a lot of small boat guys that kind of work with SEALs and all that. But so once I picked my job or whatever, I did logistics. They kind of needed a pre-screening. Like I was it's called a River on Command. They used to call us river rats, basically.
River rat.
Yeah.
I was a river rat. Yeah. Because I lived in Fox River Grove.
Those are where the rats live.
Yeah, so they called us river rats.
So I'm also a rat.
And if you look at him, he kind of looks like a rat. He's got
I'm
the
a rat too.
He's got the eyes.
Hey, I'm also a river rat, but yeah. So like the way I break it down, like it's not a huge community part in the Navy, but I guess it's like the brown water side they would call it. So like back in the what was it, the Vietnam days, those boats that would go around there, that's when it first started. So like the command,
small boats.
Yep. So I was at a river on command, and I loved it. So that was my first command. So trailing back to like jiu-jitsu and everything, I was looking for a boxing gym initially. So I finally they didn't have many down in Virginia. It was like a lot of MMA and stuff like that. And for me, I kind of, in Kenny's case, I grew up a lot of like boxing, so I loved it. Like I wanted to box forever. Like I'd beg my mom, but she was like, she didn't let me till basically I was 18. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna find a gym and like whatever. So we can get into that after too. But so when I got to Virginia, I found a boxing gym. It was open for like a little bit, and then they kind of shut it down. Like, okay, we're changing over to like an MMA type gym, whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like whatever. I guess now I'm gonna learn striking, this and that. But they only did more no-gi stuff over there. So initially I started like 6 months. It was like no-gi and all that. But then I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I see people in the gis. I'm like, I want to start doing like this, traditional, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, whatever. So then I jumped over to another gym that was more traditional. And I was there for about like 3-4 months. So that whole year I was training.
Do you remember what school?
Yeah.
Or who you trained under?
Yeah, it was Gustavo Machado. So it was there for like 3 months. So I was there. And then the next year, that was when it was kind of crazy. So that next year I had a whole bunch of injuries that actually not even from jiu-jitsu, but from like the Navy. So that was kind of like the other break. So even though I started in 2016, I guess maybe 2 years out of that time.
Hey, man, you count the time.
Yeah, no, that's how I feel.
Even if you're hurt, as long as you came back,
no, I did. Yeah,
it counts.
Once you started, you're in.
I do believe in that.
Okay, that's how I felt too. Because I'm like, I never technically
you never
quit.
stopped.
I never stopped. Yeah.
Injuries, life happens, things like that. But as long as you come back, then the time you started, you got that time.
Yeah, that's how I felt. So like after that year of like, it was just crazy. I had so many injuries. But then the next year, and I had deployment that year, and then I came back. And my buddy's like, hey, like I think he was married to like someone who, I don't know, his whatever wife or I don't know, whatever, his aunt or someone that was a Marine basically that he knew through the Navy was like, hey, I train over at another gym. It was called Virginia Beach Jiu-Jitsu. If you want to come here, like you get a discount, whatever. They do like military discounts. I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'll go over there. So I was over there pretty much for like a good 6 months till I got stationed actually back in Illinois. So then once I got to Illinois, came here, I was actually excited because I went to a command, they call it that. So in the Navy, you get like sea and shore commands. That's what they call it. So like a shore command is like, you're expected to be home ported. Like you're not really going to get deployed. Like my first command was more like, hey, you can like, if you need to get deployed, like they're going to send you no matter what. That's kind of how it goes. But this command is kind of like, you're home ported, you're not going to go anywhere. And that's called like a shore command or whatever. So then I had a shore command over in Great Lakes, and then I was like all excited because I'm like, yeah, finally, maybe I'll have more time to like be super consistent with jiu-jitsu because that was like the one thing like I wanted, for.
So you knew you already were hooked on jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
So it sounded like boxing was what you were interested in. So how did that transition go from someone who wants to do striking, which is very different from grappling? And you didn't wrestle as a kid?
No, nothing like that. We can get into all the sports too, and just like I love talking about that too. But yeah, no, I played like pretty much everything sports-wise growing up since I was like 5, but like I never wrestled, had no back. I played football too.
So do you think you just were always trying to find something to like really catch your, like scratch that itch for you, and then jiu-jitsu was the thing that you felt like you wanted to do consistently?
But what was it? Why did you like jiu-jitsu? If you went in for boxing and then you started doing jiu-jitsu, what did you enjoy about it?
I think it was mainly because they just that shut down. Like the guy who had the boxing gym was like, you know what, like he kind of.
But you're not boxing anymore.
No,
so jiu-jitsu worked. I'm wondering why.
Yeah, no, right, no, exactly. So the one instructor that was there, I just remember like the first like jiu-jitsu class that I had, like I said, it was no-gi, and then just getting whooped. You know what I mean? Okay. And then in my mind, I'm like, man, this is like I wanted to learn it. You know what I'm saying? Like after I got beat up, I'm like, I was just hooked. It wasn't like, damn, I want to quit or anything.
Yeah, that's a classic good story of like you get beat up and then it actually makes you want to do it.
It makes you realize like he knows something that I would really like to.
And maybe boxing isn't the only answer.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, like, and even I think too, just maybe where me and Kenny grew up and stuff like I don't know, those areas, guys are more like just into the boxing where it's like no one really.
That's what's like cool.
Well, that's what's
striking.
Yeah, and also too, I guess in those situations, like you never know. Everyone's just maybe like you never know if a friend's gonna come in, like maybe jumps in. So it's hard if you're gonna go one-on-one. Like okay, you get to the ground, like I don't know. So maybe that's what I just grew up watching and stuff too. But yeah, that was the one thing that hooked me where I was like, man, I remember getting just beat up by like the one instructor like all the time too. I'm like, man, this is like I loved it though. And I wanted to be like, how do I not let this happen? I even told you it was like we've had pretty good talks about just like certain ways to learn and not learn, and I kind of feel like that was a majority of definitely how I learned early on.
That's a very interesting thing. I've never for someone coming in on an entry level day, if you come into a jiu-jitsu gym, we can beat somebody up, in a nice way, but really like teach them they need to like know something. It's kind of hard to do that in I mean, I guess you could just like kind of touch somebody up, but you
can't.
They wouldn't respect it, right? They
you'd hurt them too much, right? Yeah. So like that's the whole point of gentle art is I can do it without truly hurting you, and like the only thing that gets hurt is your ego and like your manhood. If you're like, I thought I was tough, but like in boxing or like sparring, like if the only sparring you're doing is like punching and kicking, like so you think you're tough and then this guy is obviously better than you. Either you're going to respect that and not be like, I don't want to get punched. You can just understand like I don't want to get punched by that guy, or you're stupid enough to go do it and you'll get so hurt that you won't be able. And, some people are psychos and they like that and they'll come back, but jiu-jitsu is like it's such a safe environment comparatively.
Well, that was my first. I don't know if we talked about it, but that was like one of my first like I guess sparring experiences too. When I was down there, where I was like, okay, I kind of did a little bit with boxing already, but nothing crazy, But then, like I said, they turned it more into an MMA gym. And I remember like one of the guys like we had a fight or something. He was just a huge guy, and they're like, come on, just go spar with him. And I'm like, I only had a really boxing background, so I'm like, okay. So I'm like trying to box this guy, and he was just destroying me, like jacking my legs up. I didn't know shit about it, and I loved even MMA before that. Like I watched it even in high school, but like for some reason I wanted to like. I had this mindset where like maybe I'll learn boxing first.
I want to ask too, how big were you back then? I feel like there was. I feel like you were big though, weren't you?
No, yeah. No,
you had like compared to where you are now.
Yeah.
So how much you weigh right now?
Right now I'm like the 140s, but there was definitely a time where I was a beefcake at a point.
Right. You were a big dude. So I remember. I don't remember who was asking about this.
I think it was Jay who told us. Yeah, Jay was telling us he saw.
Jay was admiring your delts.
He was creeping you.
I showed him though. No, we were talking about that at the last tournament.
What was your heaviest? I feel like you were probably a lot heavier than you are now. Right?
I got big. I got to it, but it was more like I would say it was muscular, but then it kind of fat too. You know what I mean?
Was that Navy eating?
That was
just eating and lifting.
No,
right?
and sailing.
That was
and rowing.
That was a combination of like
pull down the sail, sailor. Jeez, man, the deck.
It was a combination like so. That first command I was talking about, like a lot of guys in the military probably understand this, is like some commands are more like hardcore into working out, and other commands you're like, okay, now I'm getting fat. You know what I mean? So like my first command was very like
fitness.
We worked out like day one. It was like, all right, guys, we're only 5 miles. Like here you go.
Like, in like Navy SEALs. So like for you, was that ever on the radar of like what you wanted to be?
Yeah. So they're kind of like in the like SWIC and SEALs are kind of in that realm. So like initially that was what I wanted to do even before I joined.
What is SWIC?
So it's pretty much
an acronym.
It's kind of I forget the actual acronym, but it's basically more small boats, kind of like I did with the River on side, but they work hand in hand with SEALs. So they kind of are the ones like with the SEALs going out on missions and stuff like that too, though. But that was why I was crazy. It was like so the NECC side of the Navy, like I said, it's the Navy Expeditionary Combat Command side of it. It's like a lot of the green side, still like boots on ground. It's like not a huge community, but we're also stationed with a lot of SEALs. So when I was in Virginia Beach, a lot of the SEALs were stationed on the same base. So that whole atmosphere of like everyone's working out, everyone's like, into it. That was like a big culture at that first command. So when I got...
Was there a lot of people who train martial arts?
Yeah, somewhat. So like at certain commands, like even on the SEAL side, the Spec Ops side, like they'll teach a lot more of it. But in general, they don't do enough. You know what I mean? Like for the NECC side, like where I was at, they did a little bit more too, because even for my job, so I was a logistics, like, and they call it LS in the Navy. So we still had to learn a lot of this stuff, which was cool, like the land nav, like all this stuff, like even assembling, guns and
so
everything.
Could you build these tables for us better than Kyle?
Much better than I could.
I don't know.
I mean, they're together.
Pretty great,
which,
man.
by the way, if anyone's watching, we got new tables.
They're pretty.
Did you check? There's a lot of new things around here.
What
new
else?
tables.
New tables?
We got new facial hair.
New faces? If you're watching, maybe if you listen to last week's episode, you'll understand.
Yeah.
Kenny's corner, but that's another.
That's
topic.
here nor there.
Neither here or
it might be here. Yeah.
Growing mine too, guys.
It's a mustache. We have mustaches, guys. If you're not watching, we have grown, and I think you have a mustache. It's there.
It's coming in. I'm growing it.
Are you committed?
I'm committed. Yeah.
So this month, right? It's November. It's like a thing.
Yeah.
We didn't make it up.
It's Mustache November.
It's called Movember.
Movember.
Yeah, it's a real thing. It's like a huge organization too. It's like I think they've been doing it for like 20 years.
Okay.
But it's for like men's health.
That's awesome.
Right? Testicular cancer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then like mental health.
That's cool.
But yeah, that's why we're doing it. We're heroes.
We're supportive.
That's even better. That's even better then.
It's not just because of Kenny.
I wish I had that song to play. You are my hero. You are the wind.
That's from when we studied that.
But yeah, but honestly, I think
So
it's
you were
really,
in the Navy.
Yeah, I think it's cool when you say about like the skills that you developed or that you were required to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take that into the rest of your life too, I'm sure it still applies. So you're not in the Navy at all anymore. You're completely civilian.
Yeah. So civilian now.
Can you swim?
Yeah, I love swimming. I actually love
What
swimming.
if he never learned to swim? I would be very upset. I'd be like, really? You're in the Navy?
But no, trust me, a lot of people in the Navy can't swim.
No.
It's guaranteed. A lot of people on boot camp will
I feel like
fail.
you'd have to be able to swim.
Does that sound like a number one
Because you're
requirement?
on the water.
But you have to pass. So in boot camp, you do. But like what they'll do for the people that don't pass, and it kind of sucks, they make them pretty much so where you're based, wherever, you have to walk on almost the other side to every day to swim. So they make you until like you pass, basically.
Until you
can
swim?
You have to go there, come back, go there, come back till you can like learn how to swim. So like they have to learn.
That's good.
I mean, they got to learn eventually. You know what I mean?
You're going to need to learn.
But yeah, so like certain commands, like the command I was at, they'll have you like, you have to be qualified to be like second class swim qual. So you kind of have to be like a better swimmer in certain cases. So I guess at that command, like I said, just I don't know if it was just the requirements for being the small boats compared to the bigger ones or whatever, but yeah, it was cool though because you learned a lot of that, and I love that culture, like the Riveron community and just the base we were at.
Do you have any friends that you still talk to or close to?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got a bunch actually. One of my close buddies too. He's going to be an officer now too. So we were like he got enlisted in like officers. Basically, a way to break it down is like the officers are the guys who are like. No, smart guys. You got the bachelor's degrees and
they usually went to college.
Yeah,
went to college first.
College, you know.
Yeah, my brother is in the Army.
Oh, nice.
Was in the Army.
Nice.
So he was an officer.
Oh yeah.
And so I get that idea, and there's definitely a little bit of like
there's a rivalry.
Rivalry,
there is.
probably a better word than rivalry. It's like a energy or like a disdain. I don't know.
The reality of it is, and most officers know that they enlist to take care of their work, and they just sign off on shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how it goes down. But no, it's cool. Like it was fun because the command I was at, we had a decent amount of officers, so we'd always like I said, it was a very workout oriented type of command. So like we would play like sports, and there would be officers versus enlisted and stuff. So like that beef was pretty cool. Like it'd be like we play football and like flag football. Softball.
You were just playing sports instead of protecting the country.
I know, right? Hey,
on Veterans Day, this is what you're doing.
That was our workout, our PT session.
Also, I need to say one more thing about what you're wearing.
You like that?
Can you stand up and show the camera?
This is part of I did it for it's Rambo, baby.
It's a Rambo shirt that says America.
Yes, sir.
That's a really
That's
cool
awesome.
Shirt.
Came prepared.
Happy Veterans Day.
Thanks, guys. I'm happy to be here. This is like the one thing, that definitely.
And I'll say this about Veterans Day. We have a bunch of vets, too. We have a bunch of good guys like Bob. Yep. I know Elias 40. Buzz is a big one.
We have Vietnam
We're going to try
vet,
to get Buzz to come talk. For sure, he'll be on
Buzz
it.
Would be good.
Vietnam
vet.
He
remembers, too. We talked, too, because he was in the Vietnam days, so he remembers, like, the Riveron boats. He's like, he remember, like...
So when you talk about that, he knows the references.
Which is cool, because it's like... I just love the history on it, too. And obviously, being there was, probably my favorite part of, being in. But I guess trailing back to, like, talking about when I got bigger or whatever. So the second command I was at was more of, like... Okay, now I'm at it was a reserve center basically, and it was like kind of monitoring to see if like the reserves come in every month. So, I still worked out, but I started to get kind of like, it was big, but kind of like fat too. You know what I'm saying? So I was really lifting weights, and I lifted weights for like a majority of my life. Starting with, I guess if we want to start with like sports and talking about even, and I knew this would be fun too, because I feel like me and Kyle relate a lot to that, because I played football and just like sports and just everything like that too. But I was small in high school also. Like I was freshman year, probably 100 pounds, so like I was a super small guy. I'm still small now, obviously, but yeah, so like freshman year, playing sports, like I said, since I was 5, like I played baseball, soccer, and basketball.
No, you're saying you played sports.
Yeah, I knew it was coming though. Hey, Jay's there. Jay's gonna back me up.
Well, you have to pick one. Which one do you pick?
That's
What's the expression when you got three things? Shoot, marry, kill.
Yeah,
the dirtier version of that.
Kiss, marry, kill.
Kiss,
Will be
marry,
nice
kill.
for the children. Yeah.
I started learning, being the
What's your favorite sport? You had to pick one. Not jujitsu. You
Not
saying
jujitsu?
baseball? You saying baseball?
honestly, I don't even
Football
know
versus baseball?
I kind of maybe football. It's hard. It's hard to say.
Wow.
But baseball.
It's not.
Baseball was my best
It's really
sport.
not
though.
hard.
Baseball was my best sport.
You're
though.
good at
So
baseball.
you're a baseball player.
I was a baseball player. And
What'd you play? What position?
So growing up, I played
Shortstop.
middle infield. Yeah, middle infield.
I know what
growing
shortstop is now. I never knew until Jay told me.
Yeah, middle infield. But then when I got to high school, I played center field all 4 years. So that
The
turned
center of the field.
center field.
So you can move. You're fast.
I got good jumps on the ball. They said that's part where the nickname comes from. So
What's your nickname?
Shark. So Shark. Let me break this down. I got to put this out there since this is jiu-jitsu
Everyone's been
podcast.
confused by your because here's the story on my side of it is like he's got an Instagram that says like M Shark, right? M Shark.
Yeah, Sharko. Yeah.
And everyone thinks like your last name is Shark. Everyone's like, who's the Shark guy? So what is your
All
nickname?
right. So let me set the record straight. I'm definitely not a shark. The mats are not my ocean. And I had this nickname before I started jiu-jitsu.
So it wasn't a
I'm not that
jiu-jitsu
guy.
nickname.
I promise I'm not that guy.
I thought it was a jiu-jitsu
No,
shark.
not at all.
reference.
No, it's funny too because now like my Instagram's kind of a mix of jiu-jitsu. And I'm like, let me put this out there. It's definitely not. I'm not that guy. But anyways, it started like playing baseball or whatever just because I got good jumps on the ball. I played center field and
Do sharks jump?
they swim, but I guess that was kind of like my ocean. in the outfield.
jump out of the
I guess
water.
you would say
Yeah.
like this. This would be your analogy, Joe. Sharks
it.
have extremely good instincts, and Marco had very good
the ball.
if
Jumps
his
on the
reaction,
ball.
very instincts to
Reaction.
see where it goes. I'm sure maybe. So did you?
I thought dolphins do.
They do.
I think
too.
you're more of
They're
a
smart.
You're more of a dolphin.
I might
Yeah,
be.
but-
I think so. I don't think I'm really a shark.
Sharks,
either, man.
sharks can smell like blood in the water, like a pint per million, like really, really far away. It's pretty crazy.
They sniff it out?
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe I got the reads.
But so
Good
would
reads on
you
there.
say? So they, a lot of people saw that that big long documentary about the Bulls, and they were talking about how Dennis Rodman would
It was
just
called The Last Dance.
The Last
For
Dance.
those who
Yes,
don't
there
know.
we
That's a
go.
great-
I got
Awesome.
you.
And Dennis Rodman would just stare at the hoop and watch the way the ball would bounce off
remember
because of the
that.
rotations of it. Would you watch the way the guy was batting and know? Would you have any key reads on the way that the guy was batting to see where the ball was going to go, or you would just kind of have a nice reaction to it?
The coaches would get kind of pissed at me because like I played shallow all the time, and even like and Jay would know this too. Like you'd always have to have certain shifts and whatnot. I honestly a lot of times I wouldn't listen because I just felt like I knew the jumps, and I just trusted how fast I can jump on the ball. You know what I mean? So a lot of times off the bat, and certain guys I would just not even knowing the guy I could kind of read. I mean, you kind of know too the batters like Jay knows how the lineup goes. Like third, fourth batters are a little bit more powerful, lefty, whatever. You shift this way. I just kind of shifted how I did. But a lot of times I would play more shallow because I like to jump back on the ball, even though it's a lot harder. They tell you to go back on the ball than to go forward on the ball. So for me, I don't know. I was just kind of one of those reaction things where I would just get a read on it and just jump and snap and go out. But no,
The shark is at it.
Did you play in college?
Wait, hold on.
So-
Donna,
do you have a shark? Do you have a shark?
baseball.
Yeah. So getting to that, no, I was gonna play it in college. So my senior year, basically.
Wait, are you better than Jay? Is what you're trying to say?
Jay is probably better than me. I
You think so?
We have different positions. We play shortstop, right? Yeah.
But that's what sucks about baseball. It's like in jujitsu, you do jujitsu, I do jujitsu. I say, hey, am I better than you? Let's
Yeah.
find out. I'll go roll with you. But baseball, you guys can't play a game together.
But batting though, and you know what? And I'll say
You
this.
can just say batting versus pitching.
I'll
That's
say
it.
this competitive wise, I took that in even to like my first like jiu-jitsu tournament that this is gonna sound weird, but baseball kind of helped just because like Jay might talk like just one.
Yeah, so anyway,
you're one.
yeah,
Of,
so-
wait a second. No, I really.
I know I'm
No,
interested.
I really want to hear.
I know.
seriously, I'm being honest. Like it helped me. Like that was one.
I jumped really high. I grabbed the guy's wrist like a ball.
I had it like a ball. And I was like, he's out. No,
I grabbed his balls.
no, but no, like I thought, like because you have a very one-on-one, like it's in baseball, it's you versus the pitcher, like same thing
When you're
in-
hitting, you're
when you're
saying.
hitting, yeah.
Okay.
And so like in jiu-jitsu, that was kind of my mindset of going out there, like try not to have nerves. It's like it's you versus that other guy, and like for me, I did well, like batting wise. It was always I always took it as that mindset where it's like, oh, this pitcher thinks these batters gonna strike me out. All right, it's like me versus you right now, and like you get zoned in because you have to.
I was watching an old video of it was like you know, shit just pops up on Instagram.
Yeah.
It was like it's like back when baseball was cool, and it was this video of this guy like hits this guy with the ball, like the pitcher does, and then he like bunts it or something, and then they're running and they just he just hits him.
Well,
he bunts it down the first baseline so that the pitcher comes to get it. And
but then there's a big riot. They all fight.
But that happens a lot.
That's a famous. I don't
think it happens a lot.
Not anymore though. Not anymore. It used. I mean, it does happen a lot in baseball. Like because
how many times have you been in a scrap?
We've been close. I don't. Have you guys been in any like brawls? Yeah, but no.
You've been in a brawl.
Well, no, it happens in baseball because this is the thing in baseball, and Jay knows it's a very like mental thing too. Like let's say the pitcher hits one of your guys, right? That's like a thing. Like now
you have to support your team.
Now you got to support your team. Now the pitcher's got to hit his guy. And then,
I get that in hockey. Like that's big in hockey.
But
like
baseball, you can aim the pitch, and it's just as dangerous. Like
it's way more dangerous.
Joey, in baseball, they will get so furious because someone hit a home run and flipped the bat in the air.
And
that's
fight.
like one of the most offensive things they can do now. Yeah. And baseball people are so petty, like because they like play cross divisional games. Someone like will hit someone, and they'll literally wait like 2 years for like a playoff game.
How do you know
be
this?
like, I'm gonna beam this much now.
It's called a beam, right?
Yeah, you can beam. So one of the most famous stories ever is CeCe Sabathia is a crazy good pitcher for the a lot of different teams, but the Yankees at the time he was on the team, giant dude.
Yep.
And he literally had to pitch he had to throw like 2 more pitches to get like a $20 million bonus or something. But someone had hit his teammate to play before, so he just pegged that guy and got taken out of the game, like knowing that he was going to lose millions, but
for the cred,
for his team,
That's
know,
badass,
yeah.
Guys. It's cool.
Yeah,
it's America's pastime, though. You know what
I
mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, show with the shirt again.
I'm just America, baby.
I think you pronounced that wrong.
America, baby.
America.
It's America's
It's
pastime.
Rambo.
Yeah, and I like making jokes about it because I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't watch it, don't play it. But it's always, I think anything that people dedicate their time towards and like get proficient at or excel at, it's all cool.
It is fascinating, if you're honest about it.
Anything is cool. Yeah, I mean, you can make legitimately almost anything fascinating if you train hard at it,
But now, that's the thing too, like even like trailing back, like so baseball. When I was in high school, baseball, it ended up just being baseball and football. So I was like, I wanted to play football pretty much my whole life growing up, and soccer actually growing up was probably my best sport. Like, so you guys kind of know around the area, they kind of do.
Wait, where did you grow up to? I don't know if you said that.
So
earlier.
The north side.
Are you from Illinois?
Yeah, I'm from Illinois.
So you were born and raised in Illinois, and then went to Virginia.
Yep.
And then got stationed back in Illinois.
Got stationed back in Great Lakes.
Lucky man.
I know, right?
Cool.
Great. So the north side of the city by like Rogers Park. So like when I was around like 5-ish, we moved to like Skokie, Evanston area.
Okay.
So yeah, that's when my parents still around that area or whatever. But yeah, so like even trailing back, like my whole life, even growing up, like soccer actually was my best sport, but I hated soccer. Like I don't know why. For me, it was never a fan. But
Kyle's chugging a Mountain Dew as you said that.
Getting a sponsor around here.
Nice.
Kyle, just to talk about Kyle's Mountain Dew habits. How many Mountain Dews do you have a day?
1.
Liar.
1 now.
What, 1 2-liter?
No. One, I'll do 1 or 2 cans.
But is it true
1 or 2
that
cans?
Coke after training is actually pretty good though?
Well, I mean,
this is what they all say. I think you want to think about it like this. After training, your body's burning pretty hot like a furnace, so you can put anything in there, but it's probably not good to just fill it with 30 grams of sugar.
I don't think soda could ever truly be good.
Yeah.
But sugars, you got to replace the
glycogen.
The glycogen, of course.
That's the glycogen.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. The glycogen.
Kyle's got an addiction.
So football talk. Yeah, this will be fun though, because I know I like wanted to talk. Yeah, like similarities. But yeah, so freshman year, I finally got to play, and my dad's like, "All right, I was still like 100 pounds, like freshman year, And
that was your first time playing football, freshman year?
Ever, yeah, freshman year. But actually,
that sucks.
But I was a small
That's
guy.
gonna
That's what I'm saying. You got to play when you're little.
No, that's what I mean. But honestly, I did pretty well. Like my freshman year, like I did well. And this is, I messaged Joey and I was like, I got a funny story because I think they were talking about wrestling with Sergio or something. Mm-hmm. This is like a funny wrestling story because you guys are kind of talking about certain sports like coinciding, and that's kind of how it went. Like a lot of times the football coaches wanted them to wrestle. That's how it was. And like they would always try to get the football guys to wrestle. But my defensive coach, he liked me a lot because I played mostly defense freshman year. I played both, but mainly defense. And our wrestling coach, he was This guy was hilarious, but he would try to recruit everyone, like literally everyone. And
That's how wrestlers need to be.
Yeah.
Because wrestling's a hard thing. Not many people want to do it, so you got to recruit.
Yeah,
You gotta push them, right?
Well, I was small
Everyone,
too.
you know, baseball, like you said, is America's
Popular.
pastime. So it's like it promotes itself. Football's
the best sport.
NFL, yeah. I mean,
Football is great, though.
NFL
I
is
do
like
love
the
football.
NFL is so big.
Yep.
The Super Bowl is an actual holiday.
Yeah.
Wrestling doesn't have a fucking Super Bowl.
And honestly, there's
It's
the
such
most
a hard sport, though.
Such
I
a hard
respect
sport.
it. I respect it so. No, seriously.
so
now
we
that
need to
I'm-
promote it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way to get people.
There's the most positions in football too. You got a lot of different.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different spots for you to
and
make.
you have
You know,
even a back. You could even be a backup.
Yeah,
Yep.
no,
I mean,
Yep.
we only have you have your weight classes. That's it.
Yeah.
I really respect it, especially doing jiu-jitsu now. Like, of course, like most jiu-jitsu guys regret not wrestling, you know, but it was a funny story because I messaged Joe. I'm like, oh no, I got a funny one with this because like my defensive coach was super good friends with my wrestling coach. So he would every day, our wrestling team actually was pretty good. I don't know. Have you heard of Niles North? You guys?
Yeah.
They're pretty good at wrestling. Apparently
Niles.
they won like conference, whatever. You know, they're good though. But anyways, he would just like have this stare, just like a big like old school wrestling guy. And like he would call me in the hallway because I actually didn't want to play football sophomore year. Like
Sharko.
yeah. No, it's funny. It's funnier than that. So like I was in the hall sophomore year. I missed all the two.
Wait, okay, tell me what did the guy do?
So no.
Sharko. Here he is. Wait, is it Sharko? By the way,
Yeah, well, that's what they call me, Marco the Sharko.
Marco the Sharko.
That's why
Oh,
it started
what
because we all had.
I never even
nicknames.
heard the nickname. The whole time I just thought it was
Just read
Shark.
it. Yeah.
Marco Sharko.
Marco the
Gotcha.
Sharko.
So sophomore year, I was like, I'll be honest, football is also a hard sport too, like
Yeah.
with the two-a-days and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Sophomore year, I'm not gonna lie, I was in high school. I was definitely like not about. I wanted to do baseball.
Were you a stoner?
No, actually, a little bit, but not hardcore though. Actually,
sounded like a
Kicked
stoner.
out of the Navy.
No,
Kicked
more
out of the Navy.
No, he's done.
Dishonorable discharge.
More
And
drinking.
I only brought that up because of the two-a-days. You know,
More
like,
drinking. Yeah, more
It
drinking.
sounded like, fuck that. I don't want to do two-a-days.
No,
two days
but
is
that's
rough.
how it was though. That's how I felt. I'm like, you know what, sophomore, I'm like, I just want to, I wanted to party and hang out with my friends. That's why I was like, screw it. But then my coach saw me in the hall. It was so funny. He's like, Benitez, where the fuck were you? You know, just swearing at me. I'm like, he's like, why didn't you show up though? So I'm like, I'm not playing. He's like, the fuck you aren't. He's like, you better come like this week or whatever. I'm like, okay. So like, since I missed all the two-a-days, I kind of had to miss like a couple weeks before I could start because that obviously would have been unfair, you know. And even he was the head coach that sophomore year, and the defensive coach is like, fuck, he's not playing defense. He wasn't here the whole summer. Like, so I'm like, well, I guess I'm playing offense this year. So I played wide receiver the whole year. But anyways, going back to the wrestling coach, so they were like buddies. And he would see me in the hall. I'm like, I was already a small guy. So even if I sucked at wrestling, they're like, oh, I'll get points. I'll fill a spot with this guy because whatever. So he would come up to me, just like give me this look, and he'd be like, he would be talking to my football coach. He'd be like, Benitez. He'd be like, join wrestling, pussy. He would tell me every day till I was a senior too. Like,
And he wasn't wrong.
no, I know he was right, and I told him, I'm like, okay. I would tell him all the time, like, I'll come to one practice, and it was senior. He would literally tell me every day, join wrestling, pussy. Every time he would see me, so I'm like, okay. Finally, senior year, I'm like, okay, I'll go to one practice. So my senior year, I went to one practice. I honestly did well, but I'm like, this is too much work. I'm like, I'm not doing this shit. Not in high school. That's why I respect wrestlers so much, because to be that dedicated at that age, I didn't have it in me. Not at that age. Like my obviously mindset has changed so much. But like as a kid in high school, I wanted to play. For me, baseball was like my best sport because I didn't have to do much. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
Well, it goes along with the theory that I have.
Yeah.
Baseball's not that hard. I mean, it's just a lot of people do it. It doesn't mean it's hard.
Wait, okay, hit the ball and run over there.
yeah,
I don't even have to run. If I hit the ball hard enough, I could walk.
I win. They just put the point up.
I mean,
my
to your
God.
theory, there are a lot of big guys who can play baseball, but I mean, the reaction time is.
Well, what I'll say too about wrestling, just to talk about that, is like when you say, you know, the dedication, the hard work, that goes to show in the fact that MMA as a sport has now become, it's become a sport. Before it was just kind of a freak show. But what has become the most dominant feature in MMA, without a doubt, by a mile, it's been wrestlers. Wrestlers have, you know, and I'm a jiu-jitsu guy in my mind. Like I wrestled as a kid my whole life growing up, but you know, I've adopted the jiu-jitsu mindset my whole life since I started that. So I always like was team jiu-jitsu in my brain, but I know it's just statistically.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because of what you just said. Like those wrestlers take like a guy like Bo Nickel.
Bo Nickel, yeah.
So he's been wrestling since a little kid. So he's developed such a tough mind, you know, tough body.
Usman and Chimaev in that last fight. I mean, both those guys, you know, Chimaev
Tough
hurt his
wrestlers.
hand. Usman had like a really rough first round, and they both just dogged it. You know,
you cannot there's no way you can make up. No, I'm sorry, baseball players. There's no baseball player in the world. Show me one baseball player who's become a world champion at fighting.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
I mean, it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
To your point,
I would
though,
love to see it. Jose Canseco tried.
So you
remember that?
You would love. Yeah,
You
Jose,
remember
that was bad.
He tried. He was terrible.
Yeah.
You would love this. There's this guy Bryce Harper in the MLB, like crazy good young guy coming out, and then he got hit in the face with a ball, and then for the next like few years he like couldn't bat because he was scared. He was gonna get
it
hit.
sucks though.
You called him.
It sucks, man.
He was scared. He was gonna get hit.
Getting hit with a baseball is
No, honestly, I can't imagine. That's gotta be scary.
and the pro level too.
In the face, it's gotta be rough.
You know, and maybe let me also say, like, so I've fought and things like that, but I'm way more scared of getting hit by a ball in the face. I'd rather get in a cage and fight someone. Like, I have no desire to have someone throw a ball as fast
90
as they can
mile
throw
per hour
at
fastball
me while I'm like with a stick. Like, I'm gonna stop it. That's so dumb. But that's the point. I don't want a ball flying at me that fast.
And that's the
people.
thing.
There's definitely way more. Can you pull up those statistics, Jay? How many people die in baseball a year? Compared to any other sport, I think it's way more people die playing baseball than football.
I actually believe it because ask Jay. I don't know how many times.
Pretty sure that's true.
I've seen a couple.
I could just be making it up.
Well, they had to change. They used to, I don't know if they do anymore, but they stopped letting them bat with metal bats in college because an ump died on the first baseline. Someone hit the ball at him, and it comes off the metal bat so much faster than off a wood bat.
I got stories
all
about
wood?
that.
It's all wood bats now. Yeah.
Jay probably does too. I remember my sophomore year. This guy was a good pitcher, and man, the ball literally, if he didn't have the brim of his hat, I could have swore this guy would have been dead. Like, it hit the brim of his hat.
Is that why they wear hats?
I hope, because
That's why they wear helmets.
Helmets.
Yeah.
Is a baseball hat really designed? The hats are perfect. It goes off the duck.
Damn good.
But especially those metal bats and the pop, it's so fast. It's like, it's insane.
But going back to jiu-jitsu and grappling, it's like I'm sure anything you can work hard on anything. Like, so I'm sure baseball players who really love what they're doing, they probably do put in just as much time. But like with wrestling and martial arts, it's all tough. No matter what, every practice wrestling in particular, you just know every practice is tough. I just remember that feeling of being like, oh, I got to go do this again. Like, the wrestling season starts kicking, and you're going to be in terrible shape. And then until that it was always after Thanksgiving. Then now you start getting in good shape. It's like, the season is very tough on people.
Yeah.
So it develops a really tough person.
Yeah, no, that's why I respect it so much more. I mean, in high school, you kind of mess around like, this guy.
Hey, so we got to go back though. We didn't get.
I know there's a lot to talk about.
Well, we need to talk first. We didn't get your rounds in for tonight. How'd you feel tonight?
I honestly felt pretty good. I don't know. I missed this type of training too, because I still get it in, occasionally, because but I would love
so
to make
you're
it
right
more.
now. You're consistent. You're a 6 a.m. all the way.
Yeah.
Marco, and you're really consistent. I don't know, and maybe this is something to do with your military background in general, but you're very strict,
regimented. Yeah. I don't not.
You
and it's
never
funny.
miss.
You never miss, and every time I'm here, I could always expect almost between the exact 5-minute span to see you coming through the door.
Same time, very scheduled.
I think you're right.
Jay,
though.
did you get some statistics?
So it's saying one guy.
Do you want to hear
Feel free to come over.
Join us, Jay. Baseball back.
Hit us with the facts and get out of here.
Then I'll get out of here. The one thing that I'm seeing is where's his name? Ray Chapman. He was hit in the head, but did not die in the field. He made it to the locker room and then ended up dying. And that was the only one in the pros.
Okay.
But there's been other deaths.
I feel
in
like
lower levels.
Yeah, I think I'm talking even kids too.
Right. Yeah. So I don't see any of those statistics, but the one pro was Ray Chapman.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably the most deadly.
Well, they
Football.
just had a guy die in hockey.
Hockey.
Yeah,
Football's
hockey's
probably the
with that
worst.
cut in the neck.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Football's probably the worst, right, Kyle?
I
I can't think anyone dying.
We're trying to give people some stats.
Yeah.
Cut his mic. Cut his mic.
Baseball rules. Baseball rules.
Get out of here, you. Shoot.
That's awesome.
Chase him with a bat.
What are they doing? Always Sunny? Or what do they do? Salt the snail. Salt the snail.
Salt. Yeah, snail.
But no, I don't know.
But you're 6 a.m. man. I love that you're committed to it. But again, the 6 a.m.s you have to go to work after, so you don't get to train very hard. We do roll a lot more. And I think you're a big part of that. Why we started rolling in the morning.
Yeah.
But for you to now get a really hard training session in tonight, how'd you feel?
Yeah.
What are you working on in your jiu-jitsu? Just talk some jiu-jitsu to us.
Yeah, I kind of know, especially too. Like, I think I talked to you both about this, but even my training, just kind of talking back about like, you know, the places I've been and things like that. So when I went to, I think I want to say I was like maybe 5.5 years in at this point. I went to a school that they taught everything, you know, so which in my opinion, you should teach everything, you know, leg locks, all that stuff. But for me, I didn't know any of that. So I jumped in and I was like, oh shit, like I got to learn this stuff. And at that point, I felt very comfortable with it. And lately, I'm like kind of reverting back where I'm like, okay, now I have to get out of these escapes. Like even my last 2 tournaments, the losses that I had were, you know, leg stuff. So for me, I'm like, I was very used to it at a point. And I felt very comfortable escaping and even at points tacking it on. But now I'm like having to revert to be like, okay, get your mindset back to kind of, you know, especially in some of these tournaments like, you know, ADCC and things like that, where that's a big thing, just escaping, just stuff like that. So I want to get in positions. And tonight I was able to get in good positions. I honestly forgot his first name. He was on the podcast, one of the rock. I was rolling with him, bald dude.
Jesse.
Jesse, yeah.
Jesse.
Jesse, he was solid. And he was tacking mine, which was good because I'm like, you know, I want to get out of
Yeah,
these.
Jesse likes leg locks.
He does, yeah. So he was throwing on a lot, trying to get a lot of knee bars, escaping. But it was good because that's what I need like right now.
Well, I'll also say this has been the focus of the week. We've been attacking
exactly.
some leg locks for you.
Which is crazy because I don't know. It feels like every time like I have something in my mind where I'm like, I kind of want to work this. Like since I've gotten to this school, like it's been that, which is weird. You know what I mean? Cool. I'm like, it's just crazy because I'm like, I first got here. I'm like, you already know.
Me and Kyle have said that before, that we're our brains, like we won't even talk about like what we want to work on.
Yep.
And then we look at each other like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And like we just like start working on that.
But it's crazy because literally like from day one, like I just, in general, I kind of told you, I'm like, I was mainly a gi guy. I've done some no gi sprinkled on, but never like this much.
Well, that was a big goal for you, right? When you
Yeah.
came here, you wanted to, I remember the first time you talked to me that you said that was your big goal, was to really get more comfortable in no gi.
Yeah. And the wrestling too. And there was like that first month where we did all
we did
that.
was wrestle with you.
Yeah. And I loved it though. I'm like, man, this is like exactly what I'm like wanted to focus on. So it was like off the bat, but then it like was consistent where it was like things where I'm like, damn, I do. Like you just realize the little things you have to touch up on, like the little details and like just stuff like that. And it seems like every week it's like.
Well, should we do the story, or how did you find
yeah.
this school?
Tell us about how you
I'm
found the
surprised
gym.
we didn't start from that actually. No, yeah. Initially, so I listened to a podcast with you guys on it.
Me and Kyle both, right?
Yeah.
Classic. The original podcast
The-
for me and
the
This is
Jesse.
the
OG.
first time we've ever done a podcast.
Yeah, no, I loved it because I talked to you about like just hearing that podcast and just how you initially like to incorporate some of the yoga and the movement, and like for me that was like, well, really what drew me was obviously the schedule, because I told you like I wanted to get more no-gi in, like the morning it was there, but then after hearing like you on the podcast too and just putting it all together, I'm like, man, this is what I'm looking for, you know, especially like I said, being a guy who started in this, like not having grappling, none of that, and being a small guy doing it too, it was like I was getting to points where I'm like, damn, I want to do certain things where like with my body and learn like to not, you know, maybe overtrain at times where like I felt like early on, especially that's what was
like
going
muscling
on.
it, right?
Yeah. And just like early on was just, you just, like I said, that was.
I mean, you had those
thrown.
big Navy muscles.
Yeah.
You got to use them. Yeah.
But even going back to that, when I was like,
Sharko.
but when I was really working out, I was still doing jiu-jitsu, and like I was getting to points where I was like, man, I'm really just muscling shit.
Yeah.
It didn't feel good.
Right.
I didn't feel good when I got to positions. I'm like, you know, you catch someone here and there. I'm like, but it didn't feel like jiu-jitsu. I'm like, I'm just freaking muscling this guy, you know?
Yeah.
So like I got to a point where I'm like, you know what? And that's kind of along the lines when COVID started to hit and we couldn't really go to gym. So I'm like, I started like running a bunch and started losing weight.
That's what Kyle
again.
did too.
Yeah, so I did during COVID. I ran a bunch. Yeah.
Hardcore. Like I was just running because I'm like, I can't go to the gym. And actually
Kyle basically became Forrest Gump for about 8 months.
Me
Yep.
too, though. I was going hardcore.
He grew a long beard. He went running.
I love it.
There's like a trail of people behind him. It was wild.
Yeah,
Like
I
Rocky
had my
almost?
following.
No, like Forrest Gump.
I came out with a new shirt design.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
love
you
it,
just-
man.
And it was fascinating. And then he just like at one point just stopped. And everyone
Yeah.
was like, "Where are we going?" He's like, "I'm gonna go home.
I'm
now."
going home
going
now.
back
I'm
to
tired.
jiu-jitsu.
I got to do jiu-jitsu.
And the gym opened back up, and he walked home.
Where's Jen A with my child?
She's at the
She's
gym.
got AIDS.
He's Forrest too.
She's got AIDS.
Wait, Jenny had AIDS?
Yeah.
Wait, that's a plot twist.
Oh my
But
goodness.
no, but the school I was at, actually, they were still like, they were doing a lot of drill stuff, and actually it helped, but it wasn't the same as actually doing jiu-jitsu. So that was like the
Yeah, I
other
gotcha.
year that I took kind of a break.
So wait, so you heard the podcast, and then you said, "I got to find where the school is," because I
Yeah.
don't think we had a school. So did you listen to it when it came out?
I don't,
because that was an old
it was
podcast,
So
man.
I was going through all those guys.
I think that was 2018.
Yeah, I was going through all their stuff, and like I get on these podcasts like fixes, and I would just like listen to all of them, and it would just so happen.
So as an expert at podcasts, how are we doing so far? We're
awesome.
not. This is episode 9.
No, you know I love. No, I told you guys
You're on the ground floor.
Hey, maybe I love it because this is the school I'm at, but I honestly love
Now,
it.
what made so you said you listened to that other podcast we were on, and you kind of binged it a little bit. Yeah. What made our episode stand out, if it did?
Really, like. I think it was just Joey talking about like the movement aspect of it, honestly, and like.
So it was Joey. No, it's cool. No, it's cool.
I mean, but you too. I mean, you were Kyle. Come on, man. You were in the mix. But no,
basically, fuck Kyle.
No, but like
Kyle, you weren't even really there.
Kyle was there.
No. I don't remember. I don't remember how that podcast came about. Do you remember?
Yeah, I think Javi just invited you on.
He sent me a message, and I was like, I'll only do it if Kyle's allowed to come. And honestly, it's just because I didn't want to be alone.
Yeah, we had fun.
And me and Kyle, I'd never done a podcast in person. I did a few on the phone and stuff, never in person. And I was like, what if I'm uncomfortable? I'm like, they're bored. I'll just be like, I want Kyle there.
Though. Even this is different. But
if Kyle's there, I can, and I still feel that way. I feel like it's so much more fun when there's a group.
Yeah, I agree though. Just like group of people, but no. So I initially heard that, but even beforehand, like
fuck Kyle.
Sorry, you're the man, Kyle. You're the man. Do the clap.
God, it is cool because we can do our own podcast. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
If I want to talk about Jenny,
we're talking about Jenny.
But no,
that's my boat.
But even like Bubba Gump.
I'm sorry. I have to do one more thing about Forrest Gump for a little bit. You remember last week, Kyle, when we were at the trip?
Do I?
When we were in Orlando, why were we talking about Forrest Gump so much?
Probably because of the trivia.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because we had a trivia night while we were at the.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we were at. So, Marco, you got to come.
I can't wait.
One of these trips,
my
you got to
wife
come
knows.
on.
I told them like once she's done with school, like we're traveling. So we're
18 years from now.
about 20 years.
When my kids are full
once
grown.
Once the kids are in college, guys.
But the trips are awesome. But we had a trivia night in Orlando, and then it sparked some memories of us having a trivia night in Florida, right? At a Bubba Gump shrimp place.
Yeah.
Oh, they have them in the South. They have them in the South.
All right. So
tell the story.
This is very inappropriate. I apologize to everybody.
it's
But me and this guy Robert, who have a very dark sense of humor, they did a bubblegum trivia night, and there's this guy who stood up on a stage and he kept asking,
and I was very confident because I love that movie, so I'm like excited for it.
So he's asking Forrest Gump trivia questions, and every single question he's asked, he's like, so what town did Forrest grow up in? And then the background, all you hear is us going, AIDS, and Jenny died of AIDS. That's what it was. And after like the fourth question, the guy's like leaning over to us and going, I'm trying to have a fun family night. Can you please stop doing that? And we're like, yeah, cool. AIDS. It was AIDS that Jenny died from. So
I mean,
That's great. That's
kind of inappropriate, but
kind of funny though too.
But it was all
She was
good
a
fun.
dirty
all in
girl,
good fun.
man.
Oh man,
She was a whore, but
Yeah, she was.
with a heart of gold.
She was a whore.
Her instruments were too big.
Yep.
She played with a guitar.
Heart of gold,
She should
though.
have had a harmonica.
That heart was all over the place.
Oh, man.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
I'm
too.
sorry.
It's one
They
of
need
my
to make a new
favorites.
one.
We've
the best
talked
at
about
everything.
this.
Yeah.
He's the best at everything. That's
Are you
what I
talking
love.
about Tom Hanks?
Tom Hanks is too?
He's
Yeah,
a-
he's a great actor.
Great actor.
Yeah.
Fantastic. But they should remake Forrest Gump, like
That'd be
Forrest
cool.
Gump, the remake.
Yeah, and he's
I don't know if it should be a remake or a sequel. It could be a son. I don't know, but they do it with today's events.
Wait, his name's Forrest too.
Yeah, it could be Forrest 2.
Forrest TOO. Forrest 2. Yeah.
Like Dumb and Dumber.
Just show the kid.
Oh
I
man.
still think that one was funny.
Don't
but-
steal my movie.
Don't steal our idea.
Forrest
Whoever's
2.
listening. Forrest 2. TOO. That's really good.
I like it. I like it.
Sorry, Marco. I like to. I like to get into the movies.
I think it's fun. Like I'm a huge movie guy. So every time you guys quote, I've been on the quotes, man.
Yeah,
I'm
me
the
and
one
Marco,
calling
we
them out.
connected a while ago
Oh, yeah.
on Always Sunny.
And then also you were talking about some Korean films. I'm like, oh yeah, actually,
Yeah.
like because I took like a course because I loved film. Like in
I love
college,
movies.
when I was in college for the short time. We were doing like a Korean film course, and like I'm like these movies. I mean, I liked them a lot. It was
Yeah.
different.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
Korea is like they're taking over when it comes to film
Yeah.
right now. They're like crushing
But
it.
they've been around though, which people
Yeah.
don't get. Like they've been on.
But
the
like
scene
they're some of the biggest movies are coming out of Korea.
From what I know about Korean films is just the big appeal to a lot of people in America is like they.
I don't know where you're going.
Well,
I
so
don't know.
from what I've heard, is like
Good.
they don't care about you having like your nice like happy ending about
Yeah.
it. They give
Oh, yeah.
you a
Storytelling
No, right.
wise.
Yes,
They
they,
don't.
give a good story that like by
Yeah.
the end you go like no, no, I wanted them to. Yeah.
Did you guys know that we talked talked about this. The Departed actually is from a Korean, Internal Affairs. So they made it's a spin-off.
It's a remake.
It's a
or
remake,
whatever.
pretty much.
you wanna
Yeah,
call it.
from
remake, I guess.
Yeah, of a Korean film, Internal Affairs, and I was like,
Yeah.
I remember seeing it, like, damn, like, yeah,
Story
super-
so
I didn't know that
so
actually.
good.
Yeah, that's
it
cool.
was- Yeah, and I love. Trust me, I'm big into film. So every time you guys talk about these shows, and it's
We should do more movie reviews.
You
do
should.
this
Oh,
movie,
I would
yeah.
love it. I'm in. Like,
Do we do it by an A to F system or like a 1-star system?
I think
5
we do it
stars?
by an
5-star?
RMMA system.
R being best.
Yeah, yeah.
A sucks.
Yeah,
so now it's so confusing.
That's our system.
So funny.
this ass A film. Yeah, a rating of ass.
I mean, the star system always is kind of a thumbs up system.
thumbs. I love the thumbs.
But then we
How
only
many
got 2 thumbs.
1.5 thumbs.
Yeah.
But I love when you guys do it because even like your guys' dynamic, it reminds me of me and my closest buddy. Like
Oh, yeah?
that's how me and him we always quote movies, and we're always just saying dumb movie quotes. and
Yeah,
people
I
are
feel
looking
like
at
it's-
us like,
it's-
what the f- are these guys talking about?
It's kind of an amazing thing that humans have is the ability to like do references. So like if we saw the same movie, I can say like a little piece of the movie and like instantly you have a smile.
Yeah.
It's just a word, like it's so silly.
Yeah.
But that's definitely, I mean, that's very human, very
Yeah.
weird.
It's funny.
All friends have that, like
Yeah, but
just
you-
like a one movie quote. They're like, that's so funny.
My wife looks at me. She's like, "How do you know?" I'm like, "I don't know a lot about anything, but I know
can
movies.
remember quotes,
I don't.
yeah.
I can know quotes, and I know some. Song
I remember
quotes.
everything about Dodgeball, like
Me
like
too.
weird stuff like that. just sticks in my
Heavyweights,
brain.
and the
Yeah.
fact that you
Oh,
guys said
man.
it was the top movie, I was like, "Oh, I'm at the right place."
Yeah, heavyweights
This
is
is where I
just
gotta be,
yeah.
you know?
Hey, you came for the jiu-jitsu. You stayed for the movie.
Staying
reference.
for the movies, baby. That's
Yeah.
where it's at.
So I'm glad you listened to that podcast and you made a choice to come train with us. Where were you training right before this?
So before I went, I was at BJJ Lab in Elmhurst. Awesome guys, yeah. So, but it
Cool.
was mainly traditional stuff too. So like I said, I wanted to get more in the no-gi realm, and then also morning time. So like,
So when are you out of the Navy? So you said you were in during COVID.
right?
This gym opens up pretty much right after COVID.
Yeah,
so
we're 2021.
what-
March.
So at
when are
that-
you out?
At that time, yeah, it was 7 years. I was still
And what is out? Are you done? Can they call you back?
no. So they
Honorable?
yeah,
Dishonorable?
of course, honorable, baby. You know,
I knew
I'll show you
it.
my
Give a
paperwork.
little salute. I got my DD 214, baby.
Whoa.
That's
Hit
what
me
it's
with that
called.
again.
It's official, you know.
Man.
DDT, I think that's one of those.
DD240.
fucking
DDC
diamond
187. Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, when I got out, that was one of
They
the.
DDT you out of the Army, out of the Navy.
That'd be great.
Boom!
You're out, baby.
You're out.
Hit the road.
Right afterwards.
Get him out of here. He's gone. This guy's not coming up from that.
Triple H coming in. Dun, 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 dun,
The
Stone
old-
Cold.
The old Triple H. Remember
Dun,
those
dun,
ones?
dun,
Who would come
dun,
out of nowhere. Oh, here he goes. Here he goes.
He's got the steel chair.
Yeah. So at that point, I was in about like 7 years. So at that point, once I got out too, I was still kind of driving because I was at Gracie Bow for a minute. That was probably the longest gym I was at. So
That's where you got your blue belt, right?
That's where I got my blue belt. Yep. And
You're a
it's
blue belt now.
for 2.5 years now. Yeah. So it's going by. It's crazy though. It feels like time flies when I think back. I'm like, damn, almost 3 years.
It's almost time.
I don't know, man.
We gotta get you promoted, man.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I'm telling you, you've been with us now for a while.
Almost
You've been competing.
It's gonna be a year in with you guys in May. I think
That's
'Cause I
awesome.
started in May now, which is cool. But yeah. So at that point, I told him it was funny too because I remember talking to my professor over there, and I think he was thinking I was just like done with jiu-jitsu. I was like, no, I just got to find morning class. He's like, because I told him I was having a kid at the time, and that was the main factor. Because you know how it is. Like you see so many guys come and go because of kids and life. It happens,
Work,
you know, whatever.
jobs, all
So
of
I
it.
think he thought I was like, oh, he's going off. I'm like, no, I just need to find like somewhere closer to, you know. But for me, this work is like obviously my job is like kind of close to here. But even still, I told you guys multiple times like I don't live close around here, and honestly, the fact that I drive is because, you know, your guys teaching. I'm not going to just drive. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, like, that was like a thing where
I
I'm just
appreciate
like,
it, man.
Yeah, no, seriously. Because you could even, it's funny, I mess with my wife all the time. I'm like, babe, you can call me Mr. Convenient because I like to be in the premises of things, you know? So, like, the fact that, like, I'm coming out here, like, it definitely says a lot. For me personally, to how you guys, you know, teach and everything.
How far do you drive out?
So, today was probably a good factor because, like, I went, you know, night times are worse. So,
Yeah.
with traffic, it could be like 55 minutes probably
Wow.
with
Dude,
traffic. But without traffic, mornings is a little better. So mornings I can get here like 35 minutes drive.
It's I mean, it should take
be so
It
bad.
should take me
Yeah.
30 minutes to
You
get
guys-
here. I
you
left my
guys
house
do?
Yeah, let's
50,
talk.
45
let's
minutes
talk a little
before.
bit about the traffic. Let's get some grumpiness here.
Well,
59. What's your problem?
Well, yeah,
huh?
I mean, me and Joey take two. So you take two. You take Algonquin to 59,
Yeah,
right? Which
two
is
roads.
2 1-lane roads almost the whole way.
Yeah.
I go River Algonquin 59. 3 1-lane roads, and you'll just get stuck by this. Just one person just not moving.
And it's like also the construction side of it is like consistent. There's always gonna be something going on.
I know,
So,
man. It's just the traffic. In
I mean,
our
I guess
area.
the area you get mad about the construction, but the area we live, you like understand
Nice.
like
Yeah.
it's the winter, the roads get messed up. They only have a little bit of summer to redo them, you know. So it's like the one time that the roads are nice,
Still,
they're
I
doing
don't-
construction
I
on
don't-
them.
I want the world to be perfect. I
Yeah,
don't want
man,
them
me
fixing
too,
the roads.
man.
I want
Yeah.
the roads to be permanent.
Self-driving cars.
construction
Back to the first podcast
First
we ever
podcast.
did.
Hey, you remember this? You remember this? You heard this
Oh
podcast?
yeah. Oh no, I do actually. Well,
Yeah.
you told the story again recently. How
Yeah.
the old flipperoo.
Yeah, we need.
Yeah.
What was that?
We-
Flipperoo?
You flipped the car? Is that?
Oh no, that was me driving. No,
Oh,
that was,
okay,
that's
okay.
back then. But no, we were
Oh.
just saying back in the first podcast we went on.
Well, that's
Sorry
why.
about that.
That's why we were talking about the
Yeah.
self-driving cars.
We got
'cause
it.
you
We got
an
a tangent in one of the first podcasts we were
I
on
do remember
about
this.
self-driving cars, and we didn't talk about jiu-jitsu for like an hour. All we talked about was self-driving cars and my fascination.
We
with
need you
them.
guys' origin stories too. I'm actually looking forward to those.
You
also.
want more origin stories
from you guys? Yeah.
I feel like we did a little bit. But
little
Yeah,
bit,
we
but
did a little bit
not
first
enough.
one.
But you guys
Honestly,
have a lot.
The
Like, you guys
first,
have done a lot.
yeah, the first podcast, I was just kind of like, I didn't, I was kind of nervous. I didn't want to talk too much about
Yeah.
anything.
Want to
We
make sure
just
the,
kind of introduce the idea and then get off.
want to
Yeah.
make sure the buttons worked.
Yeah, we were just testing it.
Yeah, but I'm looking
So
forward
yeah,
to that too.
we'll definitely do more. Maybe we'll do like a episode 1 reboot,
Yeah.
kind of
I
like,
like
the
that.
Forest 2.
Forest.
We'll kind of do something like that, like Forest 2, episode 2.
So I was born in Illinois.
Right
I'll
in
do
the
the whole
middle,
thing in
baby.
a Forest accent.
Yeah, and I'll be Jenny. No, I'd rather be Bubba.
Gonna be
the
Bubba.
man.
I gotta find Bubba.
I got. And I'll
He's a
just keep
beast.
talking about shrimp.
Be good at ping pong.
Coconut
Oh
shrimp.
my god, what a great movie!
Lemon shrimp.
Are you
Such a
kidding
great-
me?
it's one of my
if,
favorites
If you're
too,
listening
man.
to this and you haven't watched Forrest Gump,
Oh man.
do yourself a favor.
not-
Rent it. Go get it. Go buy it.
Yeah, there's not. I mean, really, just a
What a
classic.
great movie.
Classic, man. Did it all. He was a football player.
He did it
too.
all. Kind of.
Do you even know who's the writer director?
I should
That's
know
Steven
this.
Spielberg.
Is it
no?
Spielberg movie?
I think so. I think he's right. I think it's Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg. I'm pretty sure.
Spielberg.
I want to say
Jay,
Spiel-
check that
Spielberg.
out. It's
Jay,
Rob
get on
Zemeckis.
that.
It's a Robert
I think
Robert
he's right.
Zemeckis. I'm gonna say.
No,
No,
Spielberg.
maybe-
I think you're right.
I think it's a book, though. It's an old book.
Is it?
Might
It is a
be.
book. Yeah.
I bet it was darker in the book. It was probably like
The book is very dark. Like the first couple pages, him
man.
describing himself is very dark. Yeah.
With his
it might be
legs,
Robert Zemeckis. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Perhaps.
I can't find the right volume for my ears. I think I'm going deaf,
It's
guys.
showing you
Feels
off.
good.
Yeah.
It's like high and then too low. But Robert Zemeckis.
Oh,
Nice.
nice. That's
Dude,
good.
nice.
That's
No,
good. That's
really good.
That's a tough
Yeah,
one.
you got
I'll
me.
say I like that. Speaking of movies, because my favorite movie of all time. Kyle, you want to guess?
What is it?
I
I
don't
want to
know.
know this.
Favorite movie of all time. Robert Zemeckis. Back to the Future.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a great one.
My favorite
Great
movie.
pick.
You sure it's not Brokeback Mountain?
No, that's my life. I do it. That's not my movie. Jake Gyllenhaal, come on.
I'm gonna sit in this
Come
chair,
on.
not this couch.
Kyle, what's yours though? That's actually a good. What's your
Favorite movie? I mean, I would say for years I'd always tell people Pulp Fiction, but I mean I don't have a specific.
I
Yeah.
think Pulp Fiction is. I love Pulp Fiction, so I'm a big,
Yeah.
I love
big
it
Quentin
too.
Tarantino
It's a
fan.
good movie.
But that is my least favorite of his movies. to
Yeah,
be
I love
honest.
Pulp Fiction.
I could
People love
agree,
Pulp
though.
Fiction, but I
It's
think
good, but
he's
not-
got so many better.
Reservoir Dogs is-
Reservoir Dogs is
that's
so
one of
much
my
I,
better.
favorite.
don't,
I like it.
I totally
As a
disagree.
story,
I like
that
Jackie
movie's
Brown, too.
way
Jackie
better.
Brown's pretty
Yeah, I don't think Reservoir Dogs is better. Yeah.
It's way better.
You don't like it?
No,
Personal
well,
opinion.
so I would say I
I
enjoy
like that.
Reservoir Dogs, but I mean, my real interpretation was Reservoir Dogs actually came out 1st, right? And then Pulp Fiction came out and was very popular. So a lot of people would tell you that like Reservoir Dogs are people who are like they have like a oh you like Pulp Fiction, I like the earlier
Yeah,
stuff
and
that
I get
people
what you
don't know
mean.
about.
Yeah,
And I
to
just-
be
I
cool
just
or
think the
whatever.
story's
Yeah.
better.
yeah, I mean, it's
It's a
good. I'm
cool
not saying it's a bad story. It's
Like
got some
Pulp
good lines.
Fiction, like the idea of Pulp Fiction was like this, like almost like jumpy pops, like
Yeah.
stories this, stories
Yeah.
that, like all over. I just didn't enjoy that.
I enjoy characters.
I don't.
And I think there was a lot more character depth.
I think I
in
like
the
story.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction.
I could agree
yeah,
with
see, I like
that.
character depth.
I could agree with that. Yeah, they didn't have that.
I feel
as
like
much.
each character then has its own story, right?
Yeah, they do. They do.
Well, I mean, yeah. So you get into the whole Pulp Fiction idea.
Like, did Samuel Jackson go and walk to Earth?
As in
he said.
everything.
I mean, like, and
He's in
like with
everything.
all of Quentin Tarantino's movies, like the story of them, he like by the end of it, like his last one. Did you see like the Once Upon a Time or
Yeah, Once Upon a Time in
That was
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
That was good.
It's like
That
the
was a good one.
story, like that's what I'm fascinated in.
Yeah.
Like, what is the theme, the concept, and that, like the heist
Yeah.
is so good.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
Do you guys like Jackie Brown? That's a pretty.
I
good
like
one, too.
Jackie, but it was okay. That's
Yeah,
not
the
my favorite one.
but it was
Yeah.
it was good, but not.
Jackie, I mean, yeah.
not the top.
I would say, yeah. I've heard a lot of people say, like, you know, Samuel Jackson makes those movies. So, like, if people like Pulp Fiction, they should really like Jackie Brown because it's just it's Pulp Fiction, but just Samuel Jackson the whole time. Yeah.
Did Tarantino do Kill Bill too?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that might be my. Top.
It's up there. I mean, that's very nichey too. Like I would say, like I like I like Django better.
Me too.
I like
Django's great.
Inglourious Bastards better.
All right, you want to
all those movies I enjoyed more than like the Kill Bill was like a martial arts western, like
that's why I loved
spaghetti western movie.
You want my childhood classic, but I'll go back and always say great movie.
Let's hear it.
Fucking Hook.
Hook was
Hook is a great goddamn movie.
Rufio.
My favorite part of that whole movie
so dangerous.
is just the whole marbles idea.
He really did lose his marbles. Yeah.
I lost my marbles.
You really are him, Peter.
And then he hands over his marbles.
Oh man. Yeah, that's one of my favorite.
Me and my sister, we watched that movie more times.
Oh my god,
than probably any other movie.
My brother.
My mom said she used to just like anytime during the day as a child, I just go, Mom, can I watch Hook?
Yeah.
Can I watch Hook? Yeah.
Hook. There's the hook.
So I
love Hook, man.
You gotta have a classic movie.
Too many. I can keep going, man.
What's your favorite again? Did you say one?
No.
Hit me with it.
It's hard. This is such a hard question, but if I got to pick, it's Rocky.
Okay,
for sure. Yeah,
and I would say Rocky's definitely like.
I love it. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you put a gun to my head, and you say I can only watch one movie for the rest of my life, I'm probably gonna pick Rocky. I'm probably gonna say Rocky 4, even to be honest.
4? Okay, I was gonna ask. That's your favorite?
Yeah,
4 is great.
3, 4, but 4 is just the one I've watched the most.
I like
4 fights a Russian.
I like 1
That's
and 2.
Russian.
Just I guess the origin part. You know, the beginning.
Yeah, they're so good, man. The only one that I don't care for 5.
5 is.
I'll take it or leave it. Tommy Gun, don't need it.
Yeah, it's okay. I like it, but like you said, I would even say the newer ones are.
Yeah, Rocky Balboa was awesome.
That was good. Really good.
Very good. I remember watching that in theaters.
Me too.
Me and Tim went out there. We ditched school just to go watch it.
That's where he fights Tarver.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Antonio Tarver.
Tarver. Yep. And he has the classic speech, or remember with his son?
Oh, dude,
that's such a good one. Yeah,
such a good speech.
Hey,
there is actually it came out. I think it just came out. I just watched it, but I was kind of like falling asleep.
Yeah.
They have a documentary about Sly. It's called Sly.
I heard my buddy was telling me.
Yeah. So if you like Rocky, I feel like you got you're a Stallone fan. Come on.
I grew up on it. I mean, we all did, but like,
I was obsessed with Sylvester Stallone.
So was
well,
I.
The story of him writing the movie is this really one
He's
of the
amazing.
Yeah, the
Can you
story's
tell the
pretty
story?
nuts.
But Rambo too.
So I mean the
the
story that I know was
dog.
just he had the dog. So he wrote the story and he tried to give it to people and no one would take the script
would
for the
take
movie.
it, but they wanted someone else.
Well, so a lot of people wouldn't take
Not
it, and then
enough-
finally someone would take it, and
I heard they wanted Burt Reynolds to be Rocky.
yep. And he said the only way he'd do it is if he could be the actor, and no one would take it. And he said the whole time that he was going through trying to get the script approved, he was just losing money, and it got to the point that he was selling stuff, and he said there's things that you should sell, and then there's things that you shouldn't. And he said at one point he sold his wife's wedding rings, and he said that was a pretty bad. So his wife left him, and then he got to the point the only thing he had left was his dog, and he went down to a liquor store and he sold his dog to a guy, and the guy took his dog, and then finally the movie got signed with him, and they told him you won't get any forward points on it. You only get back points if you're going to be the actor. And the movie does good, and he makes all these millions of dollars, and then he wants to go buy his dog back. And he said he went to that.
He did buy his dog back.
He went to that liquor store and he waited every day for that guy to show back up. And finally, the guy showed back up, and he offered him a bunch of money for the dog. And the guy told him, "Go screw yourself." And he offered him more money. And the guy told him, "Screw yourself." And then finally, he offered him a crazy amount of money, and that guy is in the movie.
So is the dog.
With the dog. Yeah. They're both in the movie, which is a really cool story
crazy.
on both ends. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Talk about an investment for that guy. I'll take, I'll take this
a
dog for a little bit. No, I'm an actor.
True underdog story.
But yeah,
man.
also
That's
like
what I
the
love.
idea of, but also like, gambling and betting on yourself.
Yeah.
Because it would have been really easy to be like, I just need the money, and then like someone else crushes Rocky, and it becomes this. And maybe it never even becomes that famous.
Yeah, dude, think how
But imagine-
horrible.
right.
Think of the guy. Think of Stallone like living under a bridge right now,
Dude,
going like,
I could've
and then
been
I
Rocky."
slowed my dog. And still, I got a script right here.
Guys, who wants it? Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy story. So yeah, there's a documentary all about him.
I'm gonna
and
watch
about
it.
that. I'm sure
I
you'll
can't
love
wait.
it.
No, I can't wait to
Let
watch
me know what
it.
you think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. What else, guys? What are we thinking? So we're talking jujitsu. Let's
I think
get
we're
back
trailing
to it.
back to like so
I'm glad you found our school.
Finding the school, but I guess initially even trailing back, it's funny because like I put all the pieces together. I don't know. Sometimes for me, I'm like, it's just faith or whatever. But like things happen for a reason. But it was funny because even when I heard the podcast too, like I said, everything that drew me was the movement and all that. But I initially already kind of knew about Team Curran like a while ago, even before that, because initially, like I told you guys, I was watching MMA like around, it was probably like junior, senior year of my high school where like MMA started like rising, you know? I'm like, okay, cool. And I was like, I remember being back then a huge Uriah Faber fan. And I remember when Jeff fought him though, and I was like, the only thing I remembered was he was from Illinois, and I was like, oh shit, like this guy's from Illinois, like now I'm cheering for this guy.
That's where I'm from, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, it was super cool because like back then, like watching him, like I mean, I knew the big guys, but like then when he fought him, like he was also on the rise too, and it was super cool. But so I pieced that together. Like I didn't even know you guys were part of that too, and I'm like, oh well, that's cool because I was already following him. And I even told Joey, I actually had one of his instructionals like a while ago, and I saw a young Joey on there.
That's cool.
Dude, what was it? It was one of his. I forgot what it was called, but it was. But you were in it, so I mean, you were like the uke pretty much the whole
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, I was Jeff's main uke for since I was little, since I was 17.
That's crazy how long you've done it. But yeah, so it was just it was crazy because even at that time, like I said, I don't know why I had that in my mind. I'm like, all right, I want to do boxing, but I mean, I did watch MMA even back then, and I always
and you've expressed even not that long ago that you kind of still want to do some striking. And you've yet to be able to make a striking class with us because of times. It's kind of tough, but
yeah, no, I definitely.
You're always welcome, man. We can get you striking again.
No, I can't wait.
We'll get those muscles back up.
No, you got to get these legs. Like I said, that was always my thing. I'm like, I guess I could like do a little, mitts, whatever, all that. But like kicking is what I was like. I want to get better at this.
Yeah.
You said you played soccer, right?
Well, yeah, I played. Yeah, literally.
But that's like a
boot it.
It's like a linear kick.
Yeah, but some soccer.
That's like kicking people in the shin.
Well, hey, calf kicks, calf kick.
Well,
baby.
this is a good question. I know, like just talking sports. And I know Kyle, because did you play more than football too, or was it just?
I did football and then I ran track.
Okay,
yeah,
because you did that both. But from what I noticed, and you guys could both like speak on it, like from what I've seen, at least the guys who've trained jiu-jitsu, like you of course have your wrestler guys who go well with it, or I would say football, but you don't see a lot of other sports a lot. Like you here and there, maybe like some baseball here, but for me and from what I've seen, not many people have done other sports like that do jiu-jitsu. What do you guys think? Like
I will say, so we have a guy, Dom over at Curran who he is, for as much as I'm making fun of people playing baseball, he has got this weird like athleticism to him that like I don't know where it would come from playing baseball, but the balance he has is like super impressive. So I mean, like, it's just maybe some good hips. Yeah,
Jay's got it.
Yeah, I mean, so I think just at a certain level, just athleticism is athleticism, right? And it kind of can transfer,
Well, even soccer though, because like I said, it was my best sport, but I hated it because even in our areas like Catholic schools, I guess they do recruiting for high school. Like I almost went to Notre Dame. I remember getting a letter for it and everything, but I told my mom, like, I didn't want to go to I didn't want to play soccer anymore. I didn't want to do an all boys school. I didn't want to play soccer. So I was like, I wanted to play football. Like I was stuck on football. So
you were fast, huh?
I was pretty quick. What position did you play?
I played linebacker in high school, but also too like freshman and sophomore year when we played both ways and stuff. Like I played like offensive line. So
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah,
I would have thought like a skill position.
I like getting in there. I don't have much skills.
Oh really?
I'll give no misconstruements about it. I wasn't like great at football. I was just like I was on the team. I was out there.
I wasn't either though.
You can lie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Scoring touchdowns left and right.
There's no way. Like no one listening to this is gonna look up stats from 2009.
That's the truth. No, but you want to be honest about it. Yeah, I mean, was on a very good football team, so I was like
he would be a wide receiver, or corner,
free safety. We just didn't, we just didn't like throw the ball much as a team,
That's
and
true. In high school you don't see a lot of that. It's a lot more running,
and on like a team of smaller people.
That's how our school
probably was like a bigger person then. You know?
Yeah, no, our school we were tiny. Like I remember lining up against these big good schools. We would have an A and a B team, and they would have an A, B, C, like D. Like they would have a whole line. Like they would have backups for everything. It was just us. Like
so he's saying like the size of the school.
Yeah.
You're saying the size
physically of our people.
No, but same with us. Yeah. We had small guys too. Like we just were small. I don't know what it was, and we were that great. Actually, my freshman year we almost won conference, which was crazy. And then sophomore year we were kind of okay, but we were in the realm too where we had a small team. You know? I mean, I was a small guy too, but like I said, I almost didn't even play sophomore year. It was really just the coach getting me.
Talking about competing, how many competitions have you done? Man. For jiu-jitsu?
Probably 6 now.
Because with us, you've done
I've done 3 now. I've done 3 with you guys, and even before, I kind of was scattered. I did 1 at white belt, and then after that, I got blue.
So they've been all blue belt?
Yeah, all blue belt. Yeah. So, but my first one as a blue, I did pretty decent. Got
so it's a funny story. I think we already told it, but when Marco did ADCC Open with us.
Oh, that's a great one.
Marco was like running very late. Literally just was being called onto the mat while we were like calling him. And he's like, I'm in the Uber. I'm 10 minutes away. And we had to like, stall the mat. And
like literally it would be like
we walked in onto the mat and competed.
I can't tell you how many times I looked at that guy at the desk and went like, he'll be here in 5 minutes. And I look at my phone and Marco would text me like, I'll be there in 15 minutes. And it's about the same.
I know. I felt, man, it sucked too because I had everything set up, had the babysitter, but then it was like a last minute thing. It was like I had to scramble. And it was funny too because my wife, I would mess with her though. I'm like, you can't. I'm like, I'm not gonna let you go to any of my competitions till I get first. So I would tell her that forever. And like, recently,
hey, you did it.
Well, that's on now. I'm like, okay, now you can come to all of them, whatever. Nice. But like in that competition, she even found a way to like get on flow. Like she doesn't know anything about it, just to watch my matches. And she's like, I heard you on there. They were calling your name like a million times. I'm like, yeah, I know. I was like, just jumped on the mat and. Yeah, I'm kind of that kind of sucked because I felt like I was just already.
You still
rushing.
did good, man. You did really good. That was against a very talented opponent too. Your first match was.
He took second too, I think.
Yeah, guy was really good.
He caught me in something. I know I left my foot out, which was like stupid. Like I knew what I did wrong basically, and I don't know. For me, like I said, I honestly wasn't expecting much. But I was more competitive than I thought, though. To be honest, like just and the bigger thing was I hadn't competed in like a year and a half.
Yeah, what made you want to do a competition?
I was just, I had a thing. I have these goals. I don't know. I was just like, once my daughter turns like 1, I'm like, I'm gonna be back to it. So like they get a little bit better at sleeping. They're still not great. They're still young, so it's hard to like do both and then compete. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna wait till she's like a little older. And I had that goal. So like, regardless of what tournament it was, I was gonna do it. I didn't care. I'm just like, whatever. But let it be ADCC and. But
it was fun. We had a big group, so it was great to have you there.
It was perfect timing, for you to get back into it. So
I was happy to be part of it, man. It was just.
And then you went
cool.
back right away and competed like next week after.
Yeah,
I was going to compete with. I had my gi match that I was going to do, and then it ended up just being you. I think Pete was going to do it, didn't end up doing it, so it just became I think you as an adult, and then some kiddos.
Yeah, and that was cool too because I think we might have talked about this already, but I was like, I just kind of want to touch up on like, I guess the local ones I haven't done yet too. So I'm like, okay, like I haven't done a Fuji. I'm like, that's good. Like, let me do this.
And I'll say this too, like, and Kyle probably can say more about it too. It's like, it doesn't matter. All the names and the stuff. It's like, they're all crummy. They're all like fun and not fun.
There's categories of it, and they are everything besides a lot of stuff is the definition of a local competition.
Right. Like
so
Fuji versus grappling games versus
Naga versus
grappling industry. They're all fun and not fun.
Yeah, but I definitely, out of all of them, I told you guys, it was the ADCC was awesome. Like that, it was super cool too, being a small team, being a part of like the fact that we took third. That was just awesome, and just
I think it was really special.
And the event was just cool. I'm like, I always like mess around and tell you guys, I'm like, man, I can't like roll without music. I'm like, these guys have music too. Like that was the best. You know what I mean? I'm just
like a party.
Yeah, like I said, I wish I wasn't as rushed. I felt like I said, I felt more competitive than I was expecting in that one, and I think I got.
When you got into a good groove, though, I feel like you So then you compete again, then you competed another one right after that.
Yeah,
you end up taking first in this last tournament.
Yeah, and I love the tap out one's definitely one I always do.
Tap out cancer.
Yeah, I like the cause. So that felt good too. I felt really good, and I was pretty much. I told you I told myself I wanted to like really do more on the feet because like I'm used to playing a lot of guard initially, and I wanted to do the wrestling. So like every tournament that I've done with you, I've stayed on the feet. I've tried to do wrestling. And
it was really fun to coach you at the Fuji tournament. Was a blast. We had so much fun.
It was super fun, and all the guys, the support was awesome, man. Just the FaceTime and everyone there is just like, and we all do that too. Like I love like when I can't go, I'm just like, damn, like I get like. Watching you guys is like
FOMO.
Almost I get FOMO, but also I get like just like watching a UFC fight, but more so because it's all of our teammates.
That's really cool.
Well, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, honestly, I have way more fun watching a small jiu-jitsu tournament that I know someone than I would a big MMA fight that I don't.
I'm not watching UFC fights going like, come on. I'm getting pumped when I'm watching my friends compete.
With you guys especially, like you guys are on the pro level, and I always tell you guys this. I'm like, man, just being like getting, we're not old, but we're getting up there, like I'm gonna be 34 next month, but seeing you guys still do it at that level, like to me, it's like amazing. Just, man, it's
we're right
cool.
behind you.
I know.
That's 33 next.
Yeah, we're not youngins anymore.
I know it's starting to, but
we're old.
My back.
I know, man. My neck and my back.
We got mustaches.
It's growing, baby.
Jay's mustache is so gray.
I know.
Epic.
It looks
it's epic.
Man.
It looks cool.
Jay's got it's got the movie star look.
You know what's funny is, Pete said today. because Pete got a mustache too. You know,
Yeah, we saw
He
that.
shaved
Pete's
it
is
for
probably
that.
great too.
Well, but then he looked at Jay. He said, "You look just like my grandpa."
Jeez. Right through the heart,
And Jay's
man.
like,
Yeah.
"Oh, thanks, asshole."
Yep.
But he's like, "No, he's a beautiful man." So it's funny. I was like, "Yep, Grandpa Jay."
Dude, Jay's a beast too, man.
Yeah,
It's
Jay's
impressive,
doing great.
man. Yeah.
Well, we have a good group, and I'm glad that you and you're a big part of it, man. You definitely have changed the culture of the 6 a.m. class. You've been a big part of
Yeah, I remember it specifically. I
training
remember you
harder.
asking me, like,
Yeah.
hey, would you roll with me afterwards? And yeah, no problem. And then, like, we would just do, like, 1 or 2 rounds. But then, like, you and me were doing 1 or 2 rounds. And then 2 other
Couple other
people would
people.
do those rounds.
Just
Then we'd
makes it more
rotate with
comfortable.
them. And then, so.
It's all it takes is one person.
Yeah. No, I was ready for it because I was like, yeah, no, as long as I can get some live here and there, like I'm good. Because even I think going back to the one term, I think you were initially bringing that up, like that whole month, like I didn't do anything live because I jacked. I was just like, I would mess with him like I don't want to wrestle anymore. 'cause I got
When
these
did you?
damn-
Yeah, it was from the Fuji mats.
The Fuji mats.
The
jacked
Fuji
me
match
up.
just destroyed.
They destroyed
and
me,
because he
man.
was wrestling hard, but
Still got some scars.
he legitimately wore all the skin off your feet.
That was nasty.
That's rough.
It was so bad. And he still came in 6 a.m. to drill and,
Yeah,
and
just
train.
bandage these puppies up, man.
Yeah, he just taped up his feet. And
Yeah,
I
that was,
have a little tiny mat burnt out my foot right now. I keep like, oh,
That
Jesus.
sucks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't get mat burn.
Here,
I
you're
don't a
right,
lot,
like, your
yeah.
mats don't like.
Yeah, we have a canvas.
I think the
Yeah.
ADCC mats got me a little bit.
Did it?
Yeah, just a
I
little
see
bit.
that on some people, but I don't know. I don't.
Maybe because you wrestled and your calluses are good.
My
too,
feet
maybe?
are very disgusting and like just tough. I have
Yeah.
tough feet.
Yeah.
Pretty
They're
gross.
strong, man. They can lift.
Like I have tough feet, rough feet. But
Yeah.
then like I also I really don't put my knees on the mat. Like
Yeah.
I'm just more careful about it.
I
So it's
know-
hard for me to get mat burn.
I noticed I got mat burns early on because I did a lot more top game. But once I started playing guard, I mean, obviously I wasn't doing as much wrestling.
How bad
as
would it
much
be just to
jab.
rip your whole back skin off?
Oh man.
I get it sometimes like in the back of my elbows.
Oh,
Yeah, that
At
kind of hurt.
half guard, yeah.
I felt
That's
that
why
more.
the longs help.
Well, I have a story. My first ever MMA fight was at a bar, an outside bar called
That's
Side
not
outs?
an MMA fight, Joe.
Yeah, no, this is a real MMA fight.
That's called a bar fight.
Yeah, it's a bar fight.
You
but
probably
it's
got some good
in a
stories with all
cage.
those.
Yeah, called Side Outs. You remember?
Oh, yeah.
You've been to it.
Yep.
And it's my first fight. It's in the summer. They call it like the outdoor war.
That's awesome.
And it was the first time I did it. I fought there like 8 times, but the first one it was like 110 degrees, and the sun was there was no
man.
clouds, and they didn't have any covering over the cage. They just had a tarp, like a canvas, and it was blistering hot. So like the fight right, and I was only 18 years old. I was or 17 years old at the time, and I watched the 2 fights before me, and then it was me. And the fight before me, the guys came back in, and they were all just blistered. Their feet were blistered. It's so hot. Burnt their feet. And I'm like, oh my god! It's like I'm about to fight, and I'm a jiu-jitsu player. I like to be on my back. And I remember just being so scared of getting burnt. But then it was perfect. Like my fight, the cloud came in, kind of like cooled
Nice.
it off, and then I fought, I won, and then everyone else got burnt again.
So Chuck over at Current,
remember
he
that
said he was
story?
filming there,
Yeah.
and what he always tells me is like literally there were like it almost looked like, this is disgusting, but he said it almost looked like potato chips were
Yeah,
all over the
that
ring
was
from
skin.
flakes of people's skin
Yeah.
coming off and then just burning
Yeah,
into like.
I legitimately had no burn. Like I was good, and then
That's-
everyone else was complaining.
So remember the first fight to win I did when they had the big they
Outdoor,
put the mat
slippery.
outside.
Yeah.
So like literally everyone else was like slipping and sliding, and that same thing happened for me. I went out there and like it like dried up, and then that mat right afterwards it rained and got all like wet and slippy.
Basically,
again.
we're just blessed.
The good
That's
jiu-jitsu
awesome.
lords are looking down on us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you, Jenna.
Yeah, I got them early on, but then like I didn't get them for a while. I don't know. And then not so recently, I'm like, oh, these are bad.
Yeah, that was a
the
bad
best-
one.
That was the worst I had. Like,
Yeah, I
ever.
thought those were pretty bad.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy that you have found the time to be able to compete, and I would say thank you to your wife and
Yeah, right. She's awesome.
and
No.
your family to help you with that. And
Yeah, no, for real. I like I said, I kind of set those like it's good to always set ground rules, just talk about it before everything, but just in general, like we're a good team, and it definitely have to
I think
shout
that's
her
what it
out,
takes
man.
for sure, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need a support system, right?
Yeah, for even
And we've talked about that with Kenny. We've had where it's if you have a family and like with your kids, I think it's a bigger thing too. Is like down the road, what do you what example do you set for your kids?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you'll have the ability to tell them when they're older. They're like, hey, I committed to something hard. I was training in the morning. I did tournaments and
Well,
it does show a lot about who you are as a dad too.
That was my driver. Like, I think even when I first got here, like, I know, like, you know, we talk kind of goals and stuff, but like, I think even initially too, because like I said, I kind of jumped around, whatever. Like, even if I would have came here and you were to be like, all right, like start over, I wouldn't have cared. For me, like I had goals of like to show up as much as I can when my kids are this age, because I know later on it's going to be like way easier. You know what I mean? So I know, like, that was literally my goal in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, if you can do it now, wait till it's only going to get easier.
That was my goal in jiu-jitsu, was just to show up as much as I possibly could when my kids are this age. You know, obviously balance when I, you know, the days I can't, whatever. But that was like my main goal. Like, even if you were to ask, like, oh, do you want like this and that? I'm like, I really didn't care about it. And I, you know, that was not like my mindset. My mindset was just to learn and to just.
That's very interesting. That's I would say that like falls in the category of like setting proper goals for yourself. You know, instead of it being, you know, getting your purple belt or doing this many competitions. That's a great, you know, goal.
I was having this
conversation
today with a parent about their kids and stuff, and about you know, the goals in general, because, you know, especially with kids, it's so they really love stripes. They love these like milestones that are visible. They can look at. They can actually look at it. They have something. So you give them a stripe and they can like be like, oh, look what I did. Or a belt. The color of a belt is like means so much to kids. Yeah. And it's like a goal for me is to try to, you know, and of course there's nothing wrong with that, but it's I want kids to really get the intrinsic value of like skill development.
It's so much bigger.
If they can enjoy, like, learn to love, like, just have fun training and also want to be good. So when they feel like, hey, I did good, like that's so much more valuable.
I love like this topic too, because I'm just like talking about, like, I think in general for most people that just start, I mean, for people to say at that point, I know early on I cared, but like it got to a point where I'm just like, I cared about learning. Like that was literally my mindset, was like, I just want to show up and learn. Like I don't care about the rest of any of it. And like I said early on, maybe, but like it just kind of stopped out of my mind. Like I had those goals, and like my goal is literally every time you guys show something, it's just like, I'm here to like learn. You know what I mean? Just like the structure, and even just how you set it up is like, okay, it's like more like, we've had this discussion too. It's more of like it is like, in, you know, university type, like you have your class, you have everything set up, and it's like, that's what my mindset was here for. I'm at the point where, like, I don't know, especially, you know, training throughout, where like I've had enough like hard rounds. Those are always fun, of course, but like I'm here to like learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my mindset.
Yeah, and you need to actually study and learn and then apply.
Right.
But if you're just applying all the time and you're just rolling hard,
yeah, right.
You're applying not knowing anything.
Yeah, no,
it doesn't work.
Well,
you got to balance it.
And I was telling you, I think that was like a majority, especially early on, of like my training was like, I mean, yeah, I guess in a sense, I mean, we've talked about this, you learn in ways, but it was mainly like, all right, I want to kind of learn from standing. I'm like, let me grab this guy who's a good wrestler, and he'll show me a little here and there before he like double legs me. And then I learned that way. I'm like, yeah, I kind of learned, but it's not the right.
It's not the same, yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same.
And it's good. It's like learning through experience.
Yeah.
But, you know, with a little guidance too. And I'm not saying that the way that me or Kyle, like the way that we're teaching or the things that we're teaching are 100% like iron. Like this is the only way to do things, because that would be wrong.
Yeah.
I think that's the idea some people get when you say like, hey, you need to study, you need to learn, you need to like listen to me. But it's not about that. It's more about like the ideas. Like there's things about jiu-jitsu, no matter what, regardless of what technique it is, you still need to learn those concepts. You need to learn stand up. You need to learn takedowns. So it's not about what takedown I teach you. It's the fact that you're being structured with your education.
Yeah, and you need to have proper guidance by people.
Same with like leg locks right now. Yep. So it's not about the actual techniques of the leg locks, but the fact that we have dedicated some time to study it is going to make you a better grappler.
Yeah. And you know, putting in the specific time for it. I mean, like the way I've heard it before is like, you know, if you had like a book of French, you know, that was all French, any one of us could probably sit there literally for the rest of our life and try to figure it out, and we wouldn't know how to speak French. But like you could take someone for like a week who could teach you how to speak French. So like if your learning is directed in the right way, you could save
what a difference,
literally a lifetime worth of time. And jiu-jitsu is probably a little more complicated than stupid French.
French is kind of like the baseball of language.
Well, I mean, French is like kind of like French is kind of like the Canadians.
The Canadians?
Yeah.
Well, the problem with France is there's too many French people.
There's too many French people, just like those French Canadians.
No, I actually think France is a beautiful country.
I've never been.
Oh, me either.
I mean, I love crepes.
Crepes are good.
So I'm not
French
saying
fries.
it, Joe.
French fries are pretty
I like
good.
pancakes.
Flat pancakes. Will you give me that?
It does sound reasonable.
All right, fine.
I'm going to slip out. Here we go. Houdini.
What reference?
Which one did you say?
Oh, he doesn't know.
Break it, Pepe Le Pew.
Oh, wait.
Don't worry. We'll let you sleep on it.
No, I'm not gonna say it because then everybody know I meant crepes.
Oh man, wait, is that Ricky Bobby?
There we go.
Yeah,
Good
hey,
man. Good man.
I see. Cheers.
Cheers.
I had
Well
to
done.
think a little in there.
Well
and,
done.
I got it.
Well done. Good job. You get to stay on the cast.
There we
I'm
go.
on
Let's
fire.
keep it rolling, baby. Let's keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling. Hit the button. Hit the button.
Which one?
He said keep it rolling.
The keep
Anytime
it rolling
someone
button.
says keep it rolling,
I like
you
it.
got
I
to-
like it.
Yeah. So the last things I can think of. We do have some questions. I messed up though. I didn't screenshot them off the Instagram page, so I can't really read them because they're on the phone that we're recording.
Oh.
But I know there's a few good questions.
Yeah?
So we
Oh,
could do
shoot.
those. But what do you think? Is it time for Kenny?
Yeah, I think let's do this. We could
we
do
can
a
pause
double.
it.
We could do a double. Yeah. So we have another
This is the perfect
installment.
excuse for Kenny's corner.
We have another
Yes.
installment of Kenny's Corner coming up. It has already, within one episode, changed our lives.
Changed my life. Everyone, look at this
Absolutely.
mustache.
So let's
baby.
see about the new
coming in.
change that we'll be living with on this week's episode of Kenny's Corner.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Kenny V here, checking in. This is Kenny's Corner. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that I feel extremely passionate about, and that is competing shirtless whenever possible in grappling competitions. So we've got proven scientific data and facts that we could share with everyone upon request and subscription to this podcast. Want to just throw out a couple examples. Joey, a.k.a. The Real Deal, competed shirtless, won gold. Jay Perez competed shirtless, won gold. A local legend, Ken Vero, competed shirtless, gold. Kyle Perkins did not compete shirtless, no gold. So, everyone, we'd like to hear your thoughts on competing shirtless. Would you do it? Have you done it? Has it worked for you? Please share with everyone and go out and give it a try. Everyone should compete shirtless, man or woman. Thanks. Signing out. Bye-bye.
So that was this week's episode of Kenny's Corner. I guess we won't be doing that anymore.
I really liked it. I agree.
No, that wasn't cool. Anyway,
You the man, Kenny.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see you on the mats, Kenny boy. Anyway, Marco.
So we got some questions for you, Marco. Do you want to do that?
Let's do it.
So we got some good ones. There's some simple ones which I like, and there's some deeper ones.
Oh,
Let me try to order them up. That's the hardest part.
some deep ones.
Okay, let's start with this one since we were just talking about it.
Boxers or briefs?
That actually is in there.
Briefs.
Fine. You fine.
Briefs, baby.
Yeah.
Briefs all day.
What's your preferred underwear style for jiu-jitsu?
Nice.
Briefs.
Briefs?
Definitely briefs.
What are briefs? When people say briefs, are
They're
those
like
tight
tighter.
underwear?
Yeah, they're tighter.
Like boxers.
Boxers
Not what he
would be
tell
like-
you. Yeah, boxer
boxers
briefs.
would be
Boxer
hard.
briefs.
Boxer
is what it's-
briefs.
Yeah.
That was really one of them?
So yeah, no joke.
Who was that?
Kenny.
Yeah, I got your back. All right, Kenny.
So Kenny's obsessed with what you wear, I guess,
Briefs.
or
baby.
what you don't wear.
What you don't wear? Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
I mean, you
I
cannot-
actually don't wear briefs. I wear because I wear the spats.
Yeah.
And I just pick the
Spats.
spats.
You wear just spats?
Yeah. Because
Ooh,
I don't
I feel like that could get you some chafing, right?
No,
You wear
actually-
just long spats?
Yeah, just long
That
spats.
can
But I
get
put
you
the
a little
shorts.
funky feeling.
No, it feels that
what
actually
you
pretty
can't
good.
do, which I know some people, I won't call it names, but you can't wear regular boxers.
Oh yeah.
It's just gonna bunch
That's
up.
weird.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you can't do that.
You can't
no
do
way.
that.
It's a bad day.
It's a
Probably
bu-
better for your sperm count,
Yeah.
but not better for your boxing, for your jiu-jitsu.
That's
you know?
true. Yeah, no,
don't know.
those regular boxers, not a fan.
It's gonna bunch up.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you wear a thong, you're just a weirdo.
yeah, I mean,
What?
I mean,
Guy. I like this question here. What's the best part about being a morning class guy? Asked by a morning class guy named Ian. Remember Ian?
my
Nice.
dude, Ian's great.
Ian's
man.
awesome.
Dude, he's a great.
You and
he's-
Ian get some really good rounds
he's-
in.
I tell him all the time, like, man, you give me some tough round, but you need that though. You definitely need.
He's a
like-
great partner for
He's
you.
a great. Yeah, he's great. Man, just for the fact the kids, that was my biggest thing. But I like it. I like it too, just because you start the day. Like I love starting the day like that. Also, like especially if I can get some rolls in, get the class in. Like I feel like my mind is like fresher. I don't know. Maybe it's like I said, the learning aspect of it. Where like some people have like I'm not really a big coffee guy, but some people maybe have coffee or whatever. Like when I do this, I feel like my mind starts going.
That's awesome.
Early on. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, okay, now I get to work, and like for me, I feel better once I get it because like, yeah, it's the best
Well,
way to
say
start
me
the
and
day.
Kyle were never morning people.
No.
You never did a 6 a.m. class before, right?
No.
Whether teaching or training.
Yeah, I mean, I worked at the post office for many years, and my shifts were 1:30 a.m. or 5 a.m. And after I quit that, I was done with the mornings. But yeah,
like I had when I worked sheet metal, I had to wake up early and go drive, and then go work at like 6 a.m. And I hated that.
Yeah.
And then I became like a shop person, so I didn't have to go in until 7.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Living the dream.
Yeah, I was like, this is better. But it still was just so tired. It's like,
Yeah.
But so I get what you're saying though. I think that's the biggest benefit is that most people have a job, have life, so their brain is almost bogged down by the time they can train at 6 or 7 p.m.
Right. Yeah, because I used
to
to
start
be-
fresh. It's nice.
I couldn't find. I mean, I never did mornings even prior, so like I didn't really start doing mornings until my kids were born. So like, just seeing the differences though, it does feel nice to start the day like that. But also going back to like going after work. After work's hard too because like you just worked. You come in right
you're tired.
after. You're tired. Like at least I could start my day like that. It feels like my mind starts going and. Yeah, and I feel good once I got jiu-jitsu. Like I know I made my class.
And you're very consistent, which I find that to be like a big part of that. If you're going to do the mornings, it's like you might as well just make it a morning routine. If you just do it once.
I can't think anybody who's a sporadic.
It's kind of hard to be sporadic with
Yeah,
that
you
because
just couldn't-
you're going to have to be tired one day. You might as well just be tired every day.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and especially too with like the kids' schedule and just how me and my wife's schedules are. Like it's the best way to kind of do it. You know what I mean? You wake up, and like you guys said, I kind of have like maybe it is the military stuff, or you just get that routine. And like for me, just having jiu-jitsu, it's like nice. Nice. So
Well, that brings me another one here. Thank you for your service. How was your experience transitioning from Navy to civilian?
Oh yeah, man, it was honestly pretty rough at first. Like, and it was tough too because like my son was
Are you still sharp?
that was
see, I got him.
DDT baby.
He's been DDT.
It's like, oh. But no, yeah.
He was about to say something very touching. You just chopped him in the neck. You just ruined his talk.
You blow it. You blow it. No, but yes. Transitioning was like, it was hard because like my wife was pregnant with my son. And a lot
I
of
just went through the hardest part of my life. Karate chop in the neck. Sorry. Now you could say something that we won't interrupt you.
No, I don't care. Honestly. It's funny. It's funnier this way, honestly. But no, yeah. So my son, he was about to be born, and like, yeah, it's one of those things too. I mean, you're in the military, you have like, steady income, this and that, and it's like, all right, well, I mean, luckily my wife, she had a degree. She's a nurse now, but she wanted to go back for nurse practitioner school, and she was kind of like, debating that. I'm like, no, just finish school up. Like, I had like, you can accumulate like a lot of leave time, so like the fact that I was stationed here was kind of nice because I mean I was in Illinois. Obviously, I didn't have to use a lot of leave, so I had a bunch of days. And during those periods, I was like, man, I'm applying for all the jobs I can, and like kind of going back, like I'm happy that the job I picked because it was a job that like translated well in like the civilian world. You know what I mean? Initially, like I was talking about like when you pick a lot of these.
You're saying like your experience.
Yeah,
working in the Navy helped you get a job.
Yeah, because I did like logistics, but in logistics, I mean, it's so broad, but like in the Navy, it could be so many things. Like I did the purchasing aspect of it. I did contracts. I did like a whole bunch of stuff. I did the warehouse. Like there's so much to it. So like when it transitioned to the civilian world, I'm happy. Like I picked that. They call it rates in the Navy.
You're very valuable to a business.
So it was good though. And like I mean, it still was hard because I mean,
where do you work now?
Right now, actually, I worked at a defense company. So like we do a lot of like pretty much
defense.
Yeah, like anything for like law enforcement, police officers, like military. So we actually kind of work with government contracting right now too. So it's like kind of something I'm in the realm of what I'm like comfortable with. So like my first job though when I got out, it was a purchasing job. So like I still stay in the realm of like the buyer aspect of it because you can be a government purchase card holder in the military, and I did that for like 7 years on top of all the other stuff I did. So like that was a good translation once I got out. So like I said, I was happy, but it was tough. The transition's hard. I mean, you're so used to that life, and then just kind of they don't help you a lot too in the military. And a lot of guys know this. Like they give you 1 week. It's called TAPS. 1 week to be like, all right, guys, this is the civilian world. This is what we're going to teach you, and then good luck, basically. And like, you could be lucky if you're actually at a good command that lets you go to some of these courses. Then. But I wasn't at one.
That's to help you
transition and like help
from
you
that
out.
Job.
But everyone has to do 1 week of TAPS, and that's really it. So I mean, that's why it's kind of sad. I mean, you see a lot of these guys like struggling. I could see how like vets struggle with stuff because it's like, yeah, you've known this for I was in 7 years. Other guys have been in longer, and now it's like, all right, let's give you these taps and maybe some courses, and now go in the civilian world. Like they don't tell you like you got to figure out. Oh yeah, for accounting for your salary. Actually, like my first job, it was great, but half my salary was going to my medical, so it was like it was tough. And I'm like, in the military, it may not be the best medical, but it's covered.
It's free, yeah.
So that was the difference, and like for me, like that hit hard. So it was kind of like it was a hard transition, like especially early on. But now it's nice. Things are starting to kind of line up, which is great. But initially, like you could see why it's definitely tough for like a lot of vets.
And relating that to jiu-jitsu, do you feel like jiu-jitsu, how would that help someone? Maybe not just for yourself, but do you feel like there's a value there? And I know you're involved with what
they have organization. Yeah, like
I think you were posted on something.
Yeah, they got the We Defy, like, and actually I was gonna even talk to you. I think like certain schools do that too, where they just like have the vet community. And like for me, like I like felt I love jiu-jitsu already, but like I honestly think it was the best. It helped me the most transition, because that was something, I guess, if I think of relationship wise, like just things in my life. I've been with my wife for a long time too, but like I've been with I guess jiu-jitsu longer. So like that transition. That was funny. It's like, sorry babe, I had another
this other girl named jiu-jitsu.
Her name's jiu-jitsu. She's like, oh yeah,
and she's a good one.
She's been a good woman. She beats me up.
She's abusive.
She's a little
abusive relationship.
Every once in a while I come home with my feet bleeding, but
my face a little marked up, but
but she's a good woman to me.
But she's still good. But no, yeah, like
She holds me down.
that's good. That was good. But no, yeah. So like for me, it helps like more than ever. Honestly, I think that like I don't know personally, and I always preach to the vets, like if they're not training, they got to train, because it's so important.
Yeah, that's something. I mean, I'd love to talk to you more about like goals we could have for that. Like if we could try to do something more. So We Defy is like a big organization that does stuff for that.
Yeah, they do for vets. Like I think
I'm always looking to help people with more stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's for me, like I said, like any vets I know, I'm always preaching it, because it's the biggest help.
Again, just a shout out to all of our
veterans out there.
We have a bunch, man.
Brothers,
and we have a lot that train here.
A lot of very humble people too. That not that very many military people are out there boasting about it, but a lot of people you wouldn't even really know. And that's
probably me
cool
too.
thing.
Like I try to not. I mean, I do, because like I love serving and stuff, but I try to be like Like,
well, it's part of your personality, but it's just like it. I don't know. It'd be like me and Joey just everywhere we go and being like, hey, do you know I'm a black belt? I mean, it would just be like kind of weird for you to like just everywhere you go, be like, hey, do you know I was in the Navy?
Legitimately what you do.
I wish.
But yeah, like it's hard to know. So I mean, sometimes you don't know. Like who knows if this person would even know if I was walking down the street. Oh, this guy was in the military. Like I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't even think about that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I just feel like there certainly is maybe a desire or a hole for people that they need filled when it comes to community.
Yeah.
So like after the military, there's definitely this. I know my brother's experienced that, and that's my biggest connection to the military is my brother. And when you're done, it's like you need to fill that, and the wrestling room for him is a big part of that, even with his kids.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of guys just don't have that, and if they never trained before, it's hard to want to go be vulnerable and go jump on a mat with people you've never been with. But
that's a great point though. Like even trailing back to just, talking to you guys for sports, I know for you've always had wrestling, and you had jiu-jitsu almost just as long. Like for me, I remember there was like probably some of the worst periods of my life is when, like if you played sports, and just done that for all your life and you kind of stopped, like that gap for me was like, shit, man, like what am I doing?
You feel lost.
I legit felt lost for like those years. And I'm like, man, and that's kind of where even when I started getting into when I thought military at that point, because I always wanted to join, but I was in school too. I'm like,
it's kind of the ultimate team.
Yeah.
The military team.
No, yeah.
Team America.
Team America, baby.
Team America. That's the movie.
Fuck yeah. Coming again to say the motherfucking day, yeah.
But yeah, no, like you feel, I had like a void, just like some of those like early 20 years. I'm like, man, like it's weird. Like you feel like when you played sports and whatever, like pretty much your whole life. And then it's like, all right, now what? Like,
I literally remember the last day of like football stuff senior year.
It's crazy.
Like going home after school for the first time, and
weird.
Just like getting home and being like, what do I do for the next few hours? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, but no, like you said, that's a great like point. Like you just have like a void, and like at that period especially, I was like, man, I played sports for this long. Like,
and I think a lot of them are vulnerable to like drinking and filling that space with like stuff that probably isn't the best habits and best
which I definitely.
outlet.
definitely did for the afterwards. Well, even talking back, we kind of talked about even like I was gonna play baseball in college too, but like it was my senior year and I really didn't care about like anything but hanging out with friends, partying. I screwed that up. Like I had my coach tell me, he's like, okay, all you need is literally a 2.0 and you have a bunch of D3 schools. I had a guarantee that I could have played, and I had a lot going on that year. I just didn't care. And so I pretty much ruined that, like my senior year, where it was just something for me. And it was like, this is all I had riding like my whole life. This is all I knew. You know what I mean? So now it's like, all right, well, now what? You know?
So the military made sense for you then.
Yeah, exactly. Once I kind of had that already in my mind.
And then when the military ends, I feel like martial arts as an adult, like you could still play baseball. Mm-hmm. You know, you can go to a men's league or whatever. You could probably play soccer too. I think people do that.
Yeah.
So I'm not obviously I'm advocating for what I enjoy the most. Right. I'm gonna say jiu-jitsu.
I can agree.
But you know what you can do.
But we could definitely do, and like there's I think a better outlet for it, because that's not as organized. I'm sure there's no like school where they're going to be teaching you. Mm-hmm. I just don't think it's the same, right? It's more just fun.
It's you and your friends meeting up.
They're
and
probably
playing.
which is cool. But like to still be in a real like environment where you're a team. You know, martial arts. We legitimately like a team. We all train for events, but it's still you doing it. But we all train as a team, and you get to go out and compete.
Yeah.
So that community building, I think, is something that in that world of the military is like probably a big hole once they leave, and that you need to fill it with something.
Yeah, but I guess just playing all the sports and doing all that. There's something about, I don't know, jiu-jitsu, just how close. I don't know if it's like you're literally close with guys.
Yeah, there's a physical closeness.
No, because you're grappling, but like even
you become close to everyone.
Yeah,
though, right?
And even other sports, like you get close with them, but not like this. You know what I mean?
It's funny,
it's
like
different.
I mean, I say that to people, like, hey, this guy, they're like my best buddies. It's like, why? Like you just, the only time you hang out with them is when you guys are doing jiu-jitsu. But like you become close friends with people just doing that.
That's the best time.
I've never seen Kyle off the mat. We've only hung out on the mat.
I don't even know if Joey really exists outside of a gym.
Real, man?
Yeah. But we're best buddies.
Invisible? I don't know.
So,
But I agree. Just, I don't know. I guess it's a cool comparison because it's like playing all those sports. Like you do have, I mean, you kind of, football has a little bit of that feel, but not like, maybe it's because like, the hitting factor too, you kind of get that, and like you kind of get that there. But
yeah,
not
I mean,
like
that's I think one of the things that's a little bit similar here is like the camaraderie of like, when you get each other here, when somebody taps you here, they're going to try to like get you back. Like when you laid someone out in practice, like, it was coming back to you. And like, and I guess the thing that's even funnier about football is like, it might not even be from them.
Yeah,
it might be someone else on your team who saw that.
Or maybe one of the other guys to like check them or something.
I think it always comes back around. Whenever you hit someone hard, it's gonna come back eventually.
Just like baseball, baby. You hit the guy.
Baseball, baby.
You get a hit back.
Just that baseball, baby. All right, I'll give you some more here. Let's do another serious one. Big goals and dreams for jiu-jitsu or grappling.
Just that's a good one, I guess. Just I don't know, really kind of what I talked about. Just to keep coming, like that's the biggest thing, and just keep learning. Like I just want to learn as much as I can learn. Like,
I mean, you definitely stuck to that, and it would have been one thing if you're like black belt.
No, yeah.
Because then I'd be like, you're full of shit.
It's a long goal.
That is the best goal. Is like just learning.
Because that's how
if you enjoy learning, you're gonna do great.
That's legitimately how I feel. Like some people, I get it. Like, and there's not knocking any of that, but like maybe early on, like I said, I may have had that aspiration, but now it's just like after you train for a while. At least for me, I just stopped caring. I just wanted to learn.
I mean, that was like one of my favorite John Danaher quotes. I don't know if you remember that. Where like I think it was Lex Friedman asked him, right? Lex Friedman was like, how does someone get a black belt? He's like, it's really easy. You just show up and pay dues. There's a lot of shitty black belts out there. What you need to not want to. You don't need to just want to get a black belt. You should want to be good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's nothing wrong with it.
And being good requires liking, learning.
I would like to be a really good blue belt, or like just instead of a shitty black belt.
Well, right. The black belt can't be the goal.
Yeah, no, exactly. I just, like I said, I want to learn as much as I can learn about.
Well, you're doing great.
Everything in this aspect.
I feel like you've legitimately gotten so much better since I met you. First time I rolled with you, and that's not to say you were bad. But to see you roll now, you're so much better.
Just evolved. Yeah,
and that's in short, almost not even a year.
Yeah, it's a short time. It's crazy though. It's flying. Like I said, it's like, dang, it's gonna be almost 8 months.
That's crazy, huh? What's your favorite submission and why?
Favorite sub.
And why?
Ooh.
That's a hard one. I don't know.
That
why
is hard.
sometimes.
Say the why first, and that.
And we'll guess what it is.
Yeah.
That's actually
I don't actually for
kind of like a Jeopardy thing.
yeah, right? Honestly, like
What is a broken arm? Armbar.
there we go. But no, I think I've always liked triangles, even though I'm short and like I don't have long legs. But for a while, like I would love to hit triangles or just like transition to omoplatas. Like I like omoplatas a lot too, even though it's kind of, it is tougher to hit in, nogi. It's still, very doable, but like I do like that transition, triangle, try to get omoplata if they escape.
I love
whatever.
omoplatas.
I love
Reverse
I use them a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
using them. I use a lot of omoplatas in nogi, but mostly just as a sweep and as a
Show me
movement.
your ways to keep
Yeah,
them pinned.
I love them. Yeah.
No, they're awesome. Yeah.
Cool, I like that.
Yeah.
All right, if you could have one wish, but it has to be related to jiu-jitsu, what would it be?
One wish in jiu-jitsu.
I would like to make $1 million
this is-
through jiu-jitsu.
That would be a great. That's
I would like to have $1 million worth of gis.
I would like
Oh,
to have
man,
a million more wishes that weren't to
right?
do with jiu-jitsu.
Wrong.
One wish.
But it has to be do with jiu-jitsu.
No, through jiu-jitsu to learn everything in jiu-jitsu, to know everything that you can know.
I think that's impossible.
It is, but that's the wish, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
I wish we had an explosion.
Yeah, my book to learn.
I feel like
Mind's
your
blown.
head would explode
to learn everything
because it's
that's
like
to be
an
learned. It's too
evolving
much, but-
thing. Like it
yeah.
doesn't end.
But then-
so then
No.
you would just
But the
constantly
wish
be
would
learning.
be that I keep having it in my mind.
Yeah, I think I would like. That's like almost like. I would wish to be able to evolve with the knowledge.
Yeah, there you go.
At the time,
It's better
when things-
wording. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
I
Interesting.
agree. It's a better way to word it.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to
Kyle,
get
do you have one?
like
What's your wish?
like immediately, just immediately absorb information, right?
Yeah.
That would be the
Like everything, just
Interesting. But I kind of enjoy I kind of
the
like
process
learning,
of like,
right?
yeah,
So I
that's
don't
true
know.
though. That's true.
What would be my wish? That's a really good question.
I wish my
That was
Ask that
Adrian,
one.
by the
Oh,
way.
Adrian, nice.
Adrian, good
Adrian's a
one.
beast.
wish my
man.
wrist didn't hurt when I
Yeah,
trained.
I was gonna say, actually, that's my wish. My
That's
wish
good. No
would be
injuries.
just no injuries.
That's good.
Like,
That's a good one.
To be able to have, and not just even pain free, but like no debilitating injury,
Yeah.
no matter what. And
Yeah.
that means I could just go crazy.
Yeah.
That's
like I
good.
just wrestle as hard as I want. No neck pain.
Yep, just going
So
nuts.
like impervious to injury would be my wish.
I
That's
like
a good.
that.
That's a great one.
That's
Because I enjoy learning. I don't want to just like learn it quick.
Yeah.
I like kind of sucking.
The process is cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
that's like a funny like they were interviewing LeBron James once about like just like playing in a game, and he's like, everyone always asks me like, why don't you just drive to the hoop every time? And he's like, and they think it's like in a video game where you turn the injuries all the way down and like the cardio all the way up, and it's just like just run to the hoop every time. It's like,
it hurts.
it's freaking hard.
And
yeah.
he's like older now too.
yeah,
That's actually even better though. I should steal your wish. That's a good one.
Yeah.
No
I'm
injuries.
glad you liked it.
It's a great one.
All right, best chocolate bar and why?
Chocolate bar? Ooh.
Do you like chocolate?
Not really, but I mean, I'll do some Twix sometimes.
Twix,
Snickers.
All right.
I like the
Left or right?
The
Left or right?
oh, I don't know. I open it up and
If you say the wrong one, I'm kicking you out.
I'm done. It's over right here.
Delete the cast.
Snickers though. I like the ice cream Snickers. You guys ever have
Oh,
those?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Those are great.
Yeah.
Those are.
I
Some
like
of my
ice
favorite.
cream in general.
So do I. That's my.
I
go-to.
need some more gelato.
Gelato's
Yeah.
great. That's like my go-to like snack. It's like some ice cream gelatos. Amazing. Oh.
So those are the good questions. I don't know if there's anything else here with these questions.
Do you think what if I read off our first ever sponsor here? You think that's a
Hold
good?
on, I got one more.
Get him in
I guess you kind of said this, but maybe you want to give me another little short answer for it. What made you start jiu-jitsu in particular? I know you're talking about boxing and looking for that, and then it just kind of evolved into it.
It was
But what made you start? This is from Sergio. What made you start jiu-jitsu, and what kept you around?
That was initially it
Poopy
was,
pants, Garcia.
but no, I think it was just the initial, like I said, just the ground stuff and the way, getting beat by the instructor, like this is like, what the hell? I want to learn it. You know what I mean? That's what I want from the start. I wanted to learn it. I'm like, I want to know what he's doing that is just destroying me right now, where I'm like,
I want to be able to do that to someone.
yeah, or just like have like the control and all that too. But that's what kept me is the learning, honestly. Like I said, to continue to like learn to not be in those positions again, and just get escape it. But that was like my initial take where I was like, I want to learn this, and I was like, yeah, because this guy was obviously wrecking me, but I was like, yeah, no.
That's really cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
So you're gonna try to read the sponsor.
Yeah, let me
give you the background. 'cause
Cool, let me hear him.
Technically, he's not a sponsor yet. He's actually a student of ours, a great student. Orlando, competed with us. He did the ADCC Open as well. But he came up to me the other day and he was like, dude, I love the podcast. He's like, I want to be the first paid advertisement for the podcast. Now, we have taken no money from him at all. But he gave me a card, and without even his permission, we want to make him the first ever true sponsor.
So let's see how this goes.
This is a free ad. Let's see how Kyle does.
So everybody, we have Orlando as our first ever sponsor of the podcast. So we have JDL Painting and Drywall. If you guys want to check them out, you can. Any info you need, you can go info@JDL /.
Oh, did you just fuck it up?
Drywall.com. No, I didn't fuck it up.
You don't know how to read slash.
Info@JDLpainting /drywall.com. Yeah, and so he's got Facebook. He's got all the information out here. So if you need any work, maybe around your house, maybe it's your business, hit up Orlando, our friend. He's a really good jiu-jitsu practitioner, and I would
just got his purple belt.
And I would even assume a better painting and drywall man. So hit him up.
If he's as good at drywall as he is at his Kimura, I'm sure he'll do a great job.
Awesome. So, Orlando, thank you so much for being the first podcast sponsor.
Which I think it just gave me this whole thing. I was so excited about it because it would be sweet if other people from the gym have things like businesses. Yeah. I'd rather love to get them out and do sponsorship. But the reality is I'd really rather support people.
Yeah.
Like small, I'm a small business. I think of it that way. I would love to support small businesses. And imagine if we just, as a group, everyone, hey, what do you do?
Kind of got their thing out there. Yeah.
So if there's anyone else who's listening who has a business, even if we just make a group and we say, here's what we work on and stuff. And, I appreciate Orlando. And he was like, no, I want to pay for it and stuff. And
really cool.
Yeah. I mean, but we're here to help everyone. I really think it's that should be a big part of it. Awesome. If you train here and you have a business, you should be telling me about it.
Thank you, Orlando.
That's awesome.
You the man.
Super cool business card too.
Yeah.
No, seriously. That's a thing though.
Let me see that business
That's
card.
the thing, man. If someone has a solid business card, people look at that.
It is a badass
You guys seen American
card.
Psycho?
It's kind of like...
Oh, yeah.
That was a scary movie.
You got to see my business. You see how it is? No, that's a good business
You got to bring it up
card,
to the camera?
There it is.
We're putting it right up to the camera.
Give it a show.
It's kind of see-through, so it's kind of...
Are you going to see me?
It's kind of cool. Back it up. There it is. Orlando, thanks again, my friend. And again, if anyone has a business, a small business, maybe if they train at the school or if you're listening and you want to get involved, Kyle, did you just trip? Kyle unplugged his headphones.
What?
I can't hear you. I hope you got that on video.
Pee Wee Herman.
What'd you say about me?
Or is here? Something. So Marco, any last thoughts? Did you enjoy being on the podcast? What'd you think?
No, it was.
You're like our super fan when it comes to podcasts.
No, this is my first ever.
Your first time on a podcast?
Yeah, first ever
right.
podcast.
You did good. You did good.
No, this is.
Yeah, you're great for it.
This is super cool though. It's just that's how I was telling my wife. I'm it's just hanging out with the guys. You know? Literally just talking. When you have kids and stuff too, obviously it's hard to go out as much other than, I have jiu-jitsu, but even talking back to the morning class, there's times where I want to talk to you guys longer, but I have work. I'm like, I gotta go. You know what I mean? But this is cool.
But I love that. And that's a huge goal for the school. For myself, it's I just want everyone to enjoy the environment.
Just hang
out, man.
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu is so important, but there's something more important than jiu-jitsu that is just joy,
bigger than
enjoying yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if jiu-jitsu is the way that you get to do that, I don't do anything else is what I enjoy doing. But I also I have really great friendships from it.
No, yeah.
And with the podcast in particular, me and Kyle, we just do this shit. Even if we weren't recording, we just kind of do this stuff. We just talk about stupid shit.
It's the best.
We debate about movies. We
all of this has happened before. Many a time.
So now we're just finally letting people in.
That's the best though.
On the fun.
That's the fun part.
And we're also letting our friends jump in, which is cool. Like this whole Potent Peppers.
Yep.
Phil, we'll get him back.
Oh,
He's
Phil?
been busy. He's got his kid coming up soon. His baby's
Congrats,
coming out.
yeah.
Police with Potent Peppers.
That's
a lot of
He's a
P's.
very important
Yeah.
police officer as well.
Yeah.
Prairie Dog Phil.
Prairie Dog Phil with those Potent Peppers. Promptly.
And he also loves pickles.
Promptly on the podcast.
Promptly, yeah. He's a pompous man, actually. No, just kidding.
He's quite the prospect for a purple belt.
Pussy. That's all I had. I ran out of ideas.
That was great.
I was trying to think of a nice keyword. That's all I was thinking of. But and like with Kenny, like this whole like Kenny's corner.
I love it.
I thought last week's
It was hilarious.
It was just I died. I was like, there's no way I'm not shaving my beard
Yep.
to
Man,
show off my
it's the
mustache.
best.
But ironic, I just got a message just now while I was reading the questions from our friend Jeremy.
Okay.
Who Jeremy Raddick, who's an awesome purple belt, really tough dude.
Super tough.
You just rolled with him last week, and I
Yep.
think you're in pain from him.
Oh man, my knee hit his hip. It's still messed up.
And I told Kyle told me that I was like, yeah, Jeremy's made of steel. I rolled him. Like, his whole body's just fucking iron.
Yep.
Awesome guy. But so I posted a photo of my mustache and I said like Movember, my friends, or whatever. He's like, be careful. Parents are going to start taking their kids out of your door. And there was no LOL, no nothing.
He was very serious.
because he's a
bad.
police officer.
That's-
too.
he
Guy means
knows.
business.
So I hope everyone knows this mustache.
It's
not
awesome,
it's not
man.
to
That
scare
looks
people
great.
away. It's it's. I hope it's inviting. I hope people see this and they think I'm a cool guy.
It
You know?
looks-
The
it looks
super
cool.
inviting mustaches are when they're like ridiculously big, and that's a long stage before you
yeah.
get there. You know.
Yeah, right now it's still kind of the creepy phase.
Yeah.
You're definitely in the creepy phase.
Oh
Look
yeah,
at that.
mine's thin. Mine's
Look,
thin.
pull that mic down. I want to see that. Show 'em.
getting-
Can you zoom
Do
in
the
on
zoom
him?
in.
Yes. Zooming. Good. All right.
No,
Yeah.
yours
So I
is
mean,
great.
it's a great. I'm glad you did it. I didn't know if you were gonna.
Oh, I'm part team, baby.
Yeah, you're
I'm
our
support.
team.
I'm
I'll
in too.
cheers you on it. Yeah, I'm glad you did it. I'm glad you did it.
awesome.
I had a good one.
We'll
Like,
see what he said this week. I think we know what he said this week.
yeah,
There.
that's gonna take a while, but I'll do it for the next one.
One day you'll
I'll
do it?
I'll do it for the next one. I'll do it for
We
the next
will?
one. Yeah, 100%.
Really?
Yeah.
That's ballsy.
Yeah, I'll go out there. Yeah.
I'll go out there. We got to get big.
Yeah, I gotta make sure I have some muscles on me. Actually.
I want you to look like Marco in the Navy.
Back in
Yeah,
the days.
Oh, man.
I might start lifting. I actually started lifting again though.
Do you?
Pretty recently.
I've been kind of slacking. Me and Jay were working out really hard, and then we kind of got a little lazy.
Nice.
I just honestly I know
It's hard.
I'm just
Oh.
really tired.
Yeah, no,
I need to-
sure. You got a lot.
I know,
You got
but
the
there's
gym
no
and-
excuse. It's
Yeah.
just kind of it is 100% just a little laziness in
It's
between
hard, though.
classes. I would always make time, and I kind of fell out of a routine. So,
Yeah.
little injuries, and then now I don't have it. Now I'm feeling a little better, so I got to get back to it.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah.
So
no,
let's set that as a big goal.
Keep each other accountable.
We need to
Yep.
start lifting.
Same.
I
Yeah.
think it's tough because I it was nice. I used to have Nolan when Nolan was around talking about military service.
Yep.
Is he? He's graduated.
I don't know. To be
probably
honest.
done
Doug, well,
soon.
Doug wasn't here like the whole week.
No, Doug's in Canada.
Oh,
He's
back
not
in
in Canada
Canada
right now.
Oh no, he's doing internet work.
He's
yeah.
doing
Okay.
internet work,
Yeah.
and but I think he's like on a leave or something. I don't know when.
Okay.
I don't really know. But Nolan, a good friend of ours, student of mine since he was like 12, and he was like here every day when we started the school. And,
Yep.
he was like, so yeah, here every day. So when I had a lifting partner built in.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got him from a little scrawny little 130 to like,
Dude, he got huge.
but I mean, and
He got
and
big.
he was a kid who, not to make fun, but he just was not a super strong
No.
kid. He was just, skinny and,
Yep.
but he got strong.
Yeah.
Right. And like we were lifting, it was a lot easier to lift when you have like another partner all the time.
100%.
But yeah, shout out to him
That's
joining
awesome.
the Marines.
No, seriously. Yeah. No, I would tell him all the time, like, dude, when you're in boot camp, just remember you can beat all of them up. Just tell you that in the back of your head, be like, yeah,
Yeah,
you'll
and,
be all right.
and I felt very proud that we sent him off in with the skill set that we gave him.
Oh, yeah.
That we developed with him.
You saying about having like a lifting partner with you,
Yeah.
it reminds me of this story. I don't even remember the guy's name, but there was a really good like offensive lineman who played for the Cowboys, and they traded him to the 49ers. And one of the guys said the first time he met him, he walked in the weight room, and the 49ers player was laying on a weight bench. He was smoking a cigarette. And he said, he goes, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Well, I was thinking about lifting these weights, but then I thought I'll just smoke a cigarette until I get over it."
Those guys are always hard.
Yeah, when you're by yourself, it's very easy to
honestly,
quit.
I don't lift by myself.
Yeah.
Today, unfortunately, just the nature of being the teacher, the coach.
Yep.
I didn't have a partner tonight. So did you see what I was doing?
Yeah, you're just
Doing push-ups.
Were you in the corner?
yeah.
Every
Yeah.
round, I just did 25 push-ups.
I saw. Yeah.
That's a lot of push-ups.
It's a lot of push-ups,
Yeah.
but it's like, I don't know. It's just, it's nice. Working out definitely helps, and I know Jay will be there. He'll help me out. But Kyle, we need to get you lifting.
We need to start lifting.
Just find a way.
Let's do it.
Maybe this, 7 a.m. again. We gotta just
Yeah.
start doing.
Yeah,
it.
I think I might
We just
stop
gotta toughen up and
hopping it with George and them.
we have
Oh yeah, George. Yeah.
George always lifts.
we
out.
have someone sit next to us who has kids, and he still makes the time before work to come
hard.
work out, to come train jiu-jitsu.
It's hard.
Maybe we need to
Do
take
the
this-
extra afterwards.
Do a little extra for,
I'll wake
do it
up
for
at,
Marco.
I'll wake up at the random times. Like seriously, there was one
For the Sharko.
For the Sharko.
Sharko.
I have to get the nickname.
gonna say shark on the way
cleared
down.
out there for the record.
On the way out.
For the jiu-jitsu record. Yeah, like I said, I'm no shark in they're not the mats.
Oh,
are not
you're
my
Sharko
ocean.
You're
from now on.
Sharko forever and forever now.
Sharko from
Yep.
now on. Sharko is great. I like Sharko. I never really, I didn't think that was your nickname. I was just like M Shark. I didn't know what you were.
Yeah.
Now
yeah.
Marco Sharko is
Yeah,
pretty
it makes
fucking
sense,
cool.
right? That's
Yeah.
what we were talking. Yeah, that was like the baseball thing. Everyone had a nickname too.
Hey,
like that.
Sharko.
Like Marco the Sharko. I'm like, all right, well,
I'm
I'll
into
take
it.
I like it.
I'm like, why not?
And how did you become Dogface, Kyle?
Yeah, what's the story with that?
Did we tell the story?
Yeah, I mean,
don't
so
think you guys did yet,
the story
though.
with Dogface is like super. So we used to have this other
Hey,
kid.
Dogface here.
We used to have this other kid, Jesus, who used to train with us at the gym. And me and him went to a Buffalo Wild Wings, and then he wanted to go get a beer. So I went up to the counter with him, and I don't know why, like I didn't have my wallet with me, and so then the girl asked me, she was like, can I get your ID too? And I was like, oh, I don't have mine. And she's like, well, I can't give him a drink if you don't have your ID. So I just walked away. And then like 2 minutes later, Jesus came up with me with 2 beers. And I was like, how'd you get one for me? And he was like, that girl remembered you. She went to high school with you. And I was like, oh, really? And he goes, yeah. She goes, is that Dogface? And I was like, what? And then, like for a second, my brain went like, did everyone call me that in high school? And he had just totally made it up. It was really funny. So then I told Joey about that, and then but it didn't really stick after that. There was like a tournament afwards that we started joking about.
I don't know why. I feel like when I heard Dogface, I just felt like maybe you were lying and that you were Dogface. And you're like, no, he made it up. No one called me Dogface. But I feel like they all called you Dogface.
I wish, man. I would have
I feel like
embraced.
Dogface is a legendary name.
I would have embraced it then.
Dog is cool, right?
Yeah.
Hey, dog.
What's
you're
up,
like,
dog?
"It's a
Yeah.
Dogface.
It's a dog right there.
Instantly, it goes from like, oh, it's like a compliment to like
Truly
"You call me
insulting.
Dogface. and like everyone loves a dog, so dogs are cute. So it's not a bad thing, but
Nope.
but when you say dog face, it's like you're,
About
like
a
you're
human?
drooling. like it makes you like droopy. Or
My
something.
ears are cut off at the ends. Yeah.
You're like, were you guys calling me
Like
that?
he's got those boogers in his eyes. He's just a dog face.
Gotta clean me up every once in a while. Yeah.
He's got those jowls kind of hanging around.
Just kind of look. What's going on? Yeah.
The face
that
of a
is funny,
dog,
though.
man. Legendary dog
Ow.
face.
You guys called me that? Like what?
I loved it.
I
Yeah.
think that too. Like really?
Yeah.
So yeah, so you'll always be dog face to me.
I love it.
Sharko, dog face. It's all good names.
Everyone needs
man.
They're all
nicknames.
good.
We got nicknames for Sneaky J. We got
Sneaky J. Yeah, we already broke down Sneaky J.
Yeah, that's a great. I love that nickname.
and honestly,
that's the best.
If you're training jujitsu and you don't have some kind of nickname, probably means people don't like you.
Maybe.
So
Yeah.
I like everyone on the mat. So if you don't have a nickname, come up to me.
We'll give you one. Yeah.
Come up to me. We'll figure it
We
out.
gotta talk though. Let's
got-
see. Let's see if
we
you
got-
If you don't have a nickname, let's come up with one.
We got Fleetwood Jesse. We got
Fleetwood
Timbo.
Je-
we
yeah,
got
Tim-
SpongeBob.
Timbo,
Yeah.
Spongy was a good one.
was a good
Again,
one.
bring up Spongy.
Yep.
Well, we miss him.
Yep.
Yeah, Spongy was a great nickname.
That sounds funny.
You like Spongy?
I like it.
Yeah. That's
Well, we
fun.
called him Spongy because he was absorbent.
Oh yeah.
Anything I taught him, he remembered it. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
like a sponge.
I want that.
Yeah, it's a nickname. Good
Nice.
nickname.
That's cool.
Spongy.
That's a good
He
nickname.
hated
to
it.
have,
Do you
though.
remember that? He's
didn't like it?
"No,
He
I
didn't
don't-"
like it?
No, I
No?
was like, I don't want to be
Really?
called that.
That's
I was like,
good,
I was like,
though.
too bad. It's a good nickname.
That's a cool nickname.
And then he
Yeah.
embraced it. He's
I'm
like,
doing
it's
that with
cool.
one kid at my gym, this little kid, Angelo. I always call him Jello. I'm like, that's the coolest
Yeah.
nickname in the world. And he's
And
like,
like-
no, I
it's
don't
like,
like
'cause
that.
no one
I'm like,
holds
dude,
you, man.
Jello's cool, man. Yeah.
Yeah, Jello's a neat name.
Spongy's a great one though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It-
to
it's stuck.
absorb it.
Yeah, it was really good. I thought it was good. It was my best work.
Yeah.
This is my best work here. Go
Yeah,
off.
I would like to give people more
Your Magnus
nicknames.
Opus was,
Yeah, it was
spongy.
Nicknames are awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean it's like
Coolest.
it's hard, but like once it clicks, it just is your nickname.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like dog face is just funny.
This is it now.
It is
I'm the
funny.
dog.
Dog face.
He's a dog though. He's a dog.
And I remember like when Kyle started embracing dog face, he started to make hand signals and like dog face, dog face. It's like I think and like the more you embrace your nickname, the better it is.
Becomes
Yeah.
your personality.
You got her, man. It's part of it.
Yeah, like my nickname was always the real because my last
That's a
name was
cool.
Deal.
You got a cool.
Like it was,
last
yeah,
name,
like
though.
it worked out. Like
Yeah.
and like real, it came from. I had a wrestling coach when I was a kid, when I was really young, and he called me Real Deal Holyfield.
Okay.
Nice.
It's like it was like
That's
the
awesome.
Holyfield nickname,
Yep.
Yeah.
right? And then it just became
That's
the
cool.
Real Deal.
Yeah.
Real Deal Holyfield.
Because you can get a bunch too. I would get Benny all the time. In the military, everyone called me Benny. Just cause
Yeah, what's Benny? Benny.
Benitez.
Benitez.
Yeah,
Benny.
so everyone was like, Benny. I was like,
I thought it was Benavides.
Oh, well,
Benavides. Only had his jiu-jitsu skill.
I don't know. I don't think he had much jiu-jitsu. I think
He was known as that, right? Like,
yeah,
he was a wrestler.
I think his
He
Joe
would spaz
jiu-jitsu
out,
was grab your head and squeeze. Yeah.
But,
Yeah,
his striking was wild though. It was kind of just
was
like
shitty.
It was,
Well, so that was- I mean, he-
Wow,
no,
it
he-
was wild.
Well,
He's
it would get too deep into a like MMA conversation, but he is a great example of someone who, as he got more technical, he actually kind of got worse.
yeah.
You know, when he
There's
was
a
just
lot
a
of
wild
examples of
whirling dervish, he was
Yeah.
hard to beat.
Same
you
with
know?
our good friend Clay Guida.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
and not that he got worse. It's just that he had a style that worked for him. He would beat guys who he technically shouldn't have beaten.
Yep.
By
Yeah,
being the unpredictable person, and
That's
then as
cool.
he tried to sharpen up, sometimes it got harder for him.
Yeah.
Carpenter.
The Carpenter.
Yeah,
We
but
love Clay. Clay's
actually, I remember I saw him. I was young. I think I was like in my 20s or something. I saw him like a bar. I was like, "Hey, Clay." I was like, "That's how he looked at me." He's like,
who are you?
"Who's this guy?"
And he's like, Sharko.
No, I was like, "Hey, I know you." I've been like,
Hey,
"What's up?
Sharko.
You want a shot?"
He's like, you want to jump for this ball?
I got it. Let's take a break. Get the shot. Get the shot.
Yeah, no,
Bro.
I love Clay.
That's awesome,
But,
though.
with Benavides, it's funny because like Jeff fought Benavides, and I was training with Jeff at the
Nice.
time when that was all going down, and
Yeah.
Benavides. In my head, I always dreamed of fighting him.
That'd be-
Oh,
I
yeah,
always
I think
dreamed
you
of it.
would've
I always knew
done
like
more.
I should fight him.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen because like I was
Yeah.
coming up at 25 and he was going down from 35 to 25.
He was a smaller,
And,
yeah,
I
35.
always felt like that was a fight that was gonna happen.
That'd be awesome.
That never happened.
That'd be cool.
That'd be awesome. Did
okay.
Jeff win? Did he win?
No, Jeff lost a decision.
Oh, really?
Very close fight, good fight. And again, that's where I think the style when you say he's good at jiu-jitsu, it's like he was a good scrambly wrestler.
Scrambly,
Yeah, he was
hard
just-
hard to hold down, hard to move. He's
Like
just a real for a
Scrambly guy.
35er. He was a small 35er and
Yeah.
just explosive.
And I think Jeff took him down in the third round. He might
the
have.
third round he started to have more
Yeah.
success, but it was a tough fight.
And then
for
like in
Jeff.
round one, yeah, Benavides was able to drop him, but it was more of like not even like a
Off
clean
balance,
punch, just
wild.
like just a wild like
That's
kind
how
of
he would
knocked
do
him
it.
over onto
But
his
that's what
butt.
he would
you know?
do.
Yeah.
He would like get guys like that. I'm like, fuck, man. It was
Yeah,
it
Yeah.
was
but then the
wild.
thing was like the
And then
main
remember like Demetrius Mighty Mouse,
oh man, that was
Oh,
brutal.
yeah.
put him
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was wild. Even I
Kind
used,
of ruined that division.
yeah.
Yeah.
I used to love Cruz's style though, Dominic. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
no one had that style back in the day.
The
like,
footwork,
the
it became
footwork.
kind of
Yeah.
almost like so predictable,
Yeah.
unpredictably predictable.
Yeah.
Where he had these patterns that it kind of got read on, like
Yeah.
like Cody Garbrandt kind of figured that stuff out, and
Yeah.
it was a moment when it was really effective,
Yeah.
and then it became like we
That's-
all know where he's going.
That's an interesting fight to go back and watch because Cody
a cool
just
fight.
stood in the middle of the cage
Yeah.
and went like, "I'm not going to chase you around doing that. I'm going to make you come
And
to
you just
me,"
keep
and then
jumping
just
right
and then
into my
just
hands.
counter him. Yeah,
That was a fun
I
fight.
Yeah.
love that fight. That was I remember watching
underrated fight because of how it all played out with Cody Garbrandt
because
later.
Dominic was landing some good shots and
Great
but just
fight.
has no real power. You know,
He
yeah.
does have power. His power in a sense of like speed, so like it hurts people. But Cody had like legit like
Oh,
touching
yeah.
power.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He hits someone, it knocks him over.
that. Yeah,
That
that
was a
fight
fun
was
fight.
awesome. I remember watching that too. I was like, man, it's such a good fight. Such
Yeah.
a good fight, and just like his boxing.
I mean that whole run right. Then you got the Dillashaw fights with him. I mean that whole
Yeah,
Oh, man.
That was
I
crazy.
know.
They're
Yeah.
great fights. Great
Yeah.
fights.
I know. I love those old school.
Well,
like
and I love the lightweights. The lighter weights are so
Yeah.
much more fun. 35ers. What's the next big fight?
Oh,
John
there's-
Jones
there's
is out.
some this weekend that are
That was
pretty-
supposed to be John Jones.
I
this
think
weekend.
it's Yuri and Pereira.
Oh,
Is that right?
I think that's
don't
the
think
next
it
fight.
is it?
I think it's Yuri.
We're looking at Jay. That's your job, Jay.
I think you're right.
He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, so the big meme going around with Yuri.
We looked at Jay like he had answers. He's like, I don't fucking know. Wait,
chilling,
what
man.
baseball team's playing?
So the big meme they're putting out with Yuri and
Yeah, that they should hunt each other.
they should just let him go in the arena,
I
and let
thought
him
that
hunt
was
each other.
great.
Yeah,
But I feel like that fight's not happening right
Let's
now. Yuri's like hurt too.
There's some good cards tomorrow.
No,
I'm
I
trying
thought
to
the
remember.
fight that is the heavyweight fight going on. Sergey and the
Oh, and Aspinall.
Aspinal.
That's
because
tomorrow,
I think
right?
that's
I
the
think
fight.
tomorrow. There's some good cards tomorrow.
So
actually.
UFC 195 is I think it's tomorrow, and it's the two big boys.
The heavyweights, yeah. And is that because?
Well, but I think Pereira and them are on that card.
Are they?
Yeah, they're the main event. So
No
Sergey
way.
and Aspinall is a co-main. See, they used to never do that. Connor messed that up. They used to always do. If you were a heavier
Title
weight,
fight.
you were the main event.
and titles.
Well, but if you were the heavier title fight, you were the main event.
Yeah, for the most part. Well, I mean, like, actually, I think the first time I remember that was Ronda Rousey. They had like a middleweight fight, and Ronda was the main event.
Okay.
Though, I mean, like they
I
put Ronda, as the main.
I thought the first. Now I could be wrong, but maybe Ronda was even that Ronda one. I remember when Connor fought Mendez for the title. That was when Rockhold and Weidman fought before.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that was, but I could be, I'm
think
not
there's a few of
100%
them.
sure
Yeah.
about that. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So Pereira Prohaska is interesting,
That's a
Yeah.
great fight because Yuri's been out, right?
and he don't go. I mean, he's been knocked out.
been-
King Mo knocked him out like
Well,
a
he
really
had
long
a
time
major
ago.
shoulder surgery, right?
Yeah.
That guy's awesome though.
Yeah.
He's a nut.
Wild.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, he's a beast.
He's got some cool hair too. Does he still have that wacky hair?
Yeah. The antenna,
yeah,
the power antenna.
yeah.
He's like
That's
a
Mortal
real
Kombat,
life.
right?
He
The
says it
Mortal
gives him
Kombat guy?
power from space. He likes an antenna.
He's like a real life avatar.
Yep.
He could plug into a horse or whatever.
Yeah, that's gonna
pretty
be
cool.
That's gonna be a good fight. Who do you think is gonna win that one?
I'm rooting for Yuri.
Yuri.
I'm on his side, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be mad if Pereira wins.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
Alex is like
a cool story.
super cool, super fun to watch. Good
Yeah.
power.
I mean,
Yeah.
Alex might have.
Wait, that's that light heavyweight.
Yeah. Alex might have some sort of. If he wins, he might have some sort of weird record of like
I feel like there's no way. Then I feel like
fastest to go like belt to belt.
Yeah.
Fastest to win a belt, lose a belt, win a belt. I mean, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is for the belt.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah,
That's
I
gonna
think
be
I think I got Yuri.
Yuri. It's gonna be hard.
That'll be
Tough.
fun.
Yeah.
Does Yuri have like ground game grappling? Does he? I mean,
He
he's a
doesn't need
striking
it, man.
guy.
He
No,
doesn't
he's a
need it.
beast.
Hey, he won the
He's a
heavyweight.
true
He won the
samurai.
heavyweight title, choking Glover Teixeira.
Oh yeah, the guy's got some
Oh,
skills.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's
He's got some
legit.
good skills, and he's just a nutcase.
He's a wild
Yeah.
man.
And
Yeah.
there's a level of like
You'll
that's-
have to choke him unconscious.
Yeah.
You'll have to
you-
knock
and you
him
can't
unconscious.
you can knock him unconscious, he'll still win. I mean,
Yeah.
that fight that when he beat Dominic Reyes, you saw
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
He was unconscious with an up kick, fell down, unconscious, got up, and then did a double spinning elbow and knocked out
That was wild.
Dominic
That was-
Reyes.
Yeah.
Reyes had a. You know what? That John Jones Reyes fight. I actually thought Reyes won that.
Yeah.
One.
Well,
they-
What'd you guys think?
Yeah, but
It's
I-
arguable.
It's
It was a
arguable.
close fight.
It was really
I
close.
think the clear John Jones loss is the Gustafson fight.
First.
Yeah, one,
Yeah, it's like just it's really when
that
you
was
watch
close.
it, it's very hard to.
I'd have to rewatch it again and like go through it.
I remember watching
It
that
was-
one and just
yeah.
going like, well, Gustafson clearly won 3 rounds, and these other 2 rounds you just couldn't score a 10-8. So it's just like it's a
Yeah, it goes back to things that I would disagree with the 10-point,
must
As a
system is a
system.
thing. Yep.
but like that doesn't mean you win a fight. But
Yeah.
it's funny. Yeah, well, I think we weren't doing it on the podcast, but like we were trying to discuss what Kenny should talk about.
Yep.
He's like, should I talk about the Fury fight?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, the fact that he lost. It was like, well, no, he won the fight. I was like, well, he didn't win a fight. He won a contest.
So I don't know if Kenny told you.
And you guys
That's
all went
good.
like, "Oh, that's true."
That's a good point,
He won
though.
he won a boxing contest, but he lost a fight against a guy.
So me and Kenny were texting each other like as that decision was being announced, and I messaged him like, I'm never in favor of like controversial decisions, but if I'm ever gonna like one, I would like to see Fury win. And then he won, and I messaged Kenny like,
Okay.
I don't care what anybody tells me.
Still happy
Fury
he won.
won that fight.
Yeah.
I will not let
He
anyone tell
lost.
me.
The fact that he lost a fight, he won a boxing contest, and arguably he almost didn't win the boxing contest. Like
Yeah.
if you go
was
back,
close, yeah.
You know what I
It was
mean? You go
close.
back and rewatch it,
Yep.
and like the punches that count, whatnot. But
Yeah. That was so
So
impressive.
I know Kenny's upset. Like you like him a lot.
No,
but
he's
Kenny,
Gypsy King, baby.
Oh, yeah, Kenny loves him.
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
And you could just feel he's just like he was hurt. He was like
I know.
he shrunk like 2 inches. He came in the next day.
Well, I mean, like seriously, like it was this thing where like after he got dropped, you go like your brain goes like
Wow, he can do it.
well, no, your brain goes like, Fury's been dropped before. All right, now we're gonna see him turn it on, and then like
He
after
did?
another round or two, you're like, what am I watching
No,
here?
right.
Like,
No,
this
that's
is-
how I felt. I was
And
like,
you had to
wow.
give him credit, Ngannou
Yeah.
credit. Like he did
away.
his job.
Yeah.
You know what I think a big thing for Ngannou was he got to go in there at like a solid 275, when like you have to cut for UFC and you don't have to for boxing.
The UFC heavyweight limit is 265.
And he would cut to do that. He was probably big and solid. You know what I'm saying? Like hydrated. And
but that does, but look, who's he fighting?
but you're
What is he, 290?
Yeah, but I'm just saying you could take a punch better and like, you know, that's probably helped a lot. It made him feel good, I bet, you know.
Yeah, for sure. But, that was never a problem for him. Yeah. Even in the, UFC, it wasn't taking a punch was a problem. You know what I mean?
No, but just,
Derek Lewis hit him and did nothing.
Well, did Derek Lewis actually punch him?
I mean, they both
I don't think they punched each other at all. Yeah, really in that fight, right?
That was probably the most boring fight of all time. But it goes to say about,
Did you see that recently?
Derek Lewis.
Errol Hawani tried to like tell Derek Lewis, like, God, that was one of your best fights ever when you fought Ngannou. And he was like, man, that's why people don't like you.
That's funny, man.
Yeah.
That's funny.
What was that? Me and Kyle were cutting weight last week in the sauna. We were just listening to Errol Hawani and Chael Sonnen.
Oh, that was funny.
Getting into an You watched that?
Well, I saw the clips of it too.
I mean, it's like they were like,
no, Chael
they're
was
supposed to be
treating him,
friends,
though.
right?
No, Chael was good.
Yeah, I'll always side with Chael.
Yeah,
Screw that
the
guy.
man.
I was
love
watching another
Chael.
clip of Chael talking about that, and he was going like, I don't know about like all these other like civilians and stuff, but when someone says to you like, say it to my face, those are fighting words.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you don't say that to somebody.
Yeah, you don't, and especially like a guy like Chael. Like,
Yeah.
it's not that Chael's like, it's just. He's not like a thug, whatever. He calls himself all these things. It's like his personality thing. It's like a storyline, but he is still a tough dude. Like
he is a man who thought someone said the wrong thing to his wife in a hotel and fought like 7 dudes. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
awesome.
such an OG. He's the OG trash talk. People forget that though.
People forget.
He's like he started even before McGregor.
Way back,
He was on
legendary.
And you have to talk about someone who talked a ton of trash and then like really could take it. You remember when he lost and that guy he lost to Anderson and that reporter asked him I think it was after the second one, and the reporter asked him, goes, you do all these interviews where you said you promised your dad before he died if you were going to win a championship, and now you're not going to do it. And I mean, he really kind of took that, went like, and that could be something where like that could really, and if you're going to talk that type of shit, you got to really be ready for.
He definitely backed it up.
Yep.
He was okay with it.
Yep.
He made his money too. He did his thing. It was, what a good career.
But on a serious note, Minotauro did try to feed Kara to a bus.
that
happened.
I was gonna bring that up.
That was the best.
I gotta spell that out for anyone who doesn't know what the hell we're talking about. So Chael Sonnen,
I love that.
He
was
didn't
fighting.
even fight them.
Yeah, but he was fighting Brazil.
Yeah,
so
that's wild.
So Chael Sonnen, part of his character was he was called the American Gangster, and he had a rivalry with a Brazilian superstar named Anderson Silva, who Anderson Silva training partners with the Nogueira brothers, who are famous fighting family from Brazil. So Big Nog, Little Nog. But the whole story it is my favorite thing I've ever seen. Me and Tim would sit in his basement, watch these videos. How funny this interview was. Do you remember this? And
I think I do.
he's basically just trying to call Brazilians like
dumb.
Oh, also like in the
Chael, I remember.
Yes.
I remember.
Uncivilized.
I think uncivilized.
He was like saying Little Nog, he chased the bus or something.
He's like, you trying to feed a bus a carrot.
That was it. Yeah.
The other one's like, whoa, big girl.
Yeah, he thought it was a horse. He thought it was a horse. Yeah,
that was funny.
It was some.
And then like for the rest of his life, if anyone ever asked him about it, he would laugh a little bit and then go, "No, that happened. I'm serious. That actually happened. You
So
believe
funny.
me, right?" Yeah.
Yeah, he was an asshole.
But Vanderlei was the best though. I
Yeah,
can't let you get close.
to
He's like,
me.
Vanderlei, he's like, what?
The better clip that a lot of people have seen is there's a clip where they were like in Brazil and they were in the same like bus together, and Vanderlei's in the back seat and Chael's in the middle seat, and Vanderlei's like going off yelling at him, but Chael like genuinely can't understand what he's saying, so he's going like, "What? Like I don't understand what you're mad about." Like,
But that's what he was saying in the altercation too. He's like, I don't understand
what
you're
you're
saying.
When is the date for the fight? I don't have a date.
He was just so calm about it.
Oh,
It was great though because his reaction was just like,
ultimate troll.
I don't have
he's a troll.
I don't have a date. I don't know what it is.
Well, I don't know. What do you think, guys? I think this is it.
This is
We
a
did
good
a good
cast.
job. Good
I
cast.
loved it. It was fun.
It's getting late. You got kids at home.
Yeah, I got to hang out.
I appreciate you coming out on a Friday night.
Yeah, we'll say
I
thank
wish
you to
I
your wife for letting you come out.
I know.
Thank you to your
I love
kids
her.
for
Yeah.
letting you come out to
Hey,
us.
if she ever wants to come do a class on Saturday, women's class.
Yeah, no, I was already telling you that's my. Well, if we want to talk about future stuff here, that was kind of my plan too. Was like she was working Fridays. Well, she works Friday, Saturdays. That's why it's always so hard for me to like well, especially on the weekends come.
Yeah.
But she was saying her job she might do every other Saturday now.
Nice.
So that's, I mean, Kenny, we're talking about
get her training,
making
man.
the Saturday.
Yeah.
No, I want to make it a thing. Like we'll bring it because then I can get my like
Kids at 10.
I can get my little gi touch up too because we have the review, you know.
Yeah.
So she can do the women's class. I could do the review after. Bring the kids.
We'll make it a fun Saturday.
That's I'm
Awesome.
trying to make it a family Saturday.
Family
you know?
day. I mean,
Yeah.
and again, I can't spell it out enough. I feel like jiu-jitsu's for everyone.
It is, yeah.
Kids, wives.
Oh yeah,
Dogs.
dogs. I've been teaching like little here and there, but I told him like, no, I want you to like start coming, get like introduced.
And we're talking about people who've been on the podcast, Taylor and Amy. I'd like to have Amy on the podcast
Yep.
soon.
We're gonna have Anna next.
Anna's
Yep.
on the podcast tomorrow. She's testing for a brown belt.
Nice.
So then we're gonna-
Congratulations, Anna.
Congratulations, Anna. She's
Not
gonna
yet. You
crush
got to
it.
earn it.
Anna, we love Anna, so it'll be really fun to chat with her after getting her brown belt and just hear her story about
That'd be
jiu-jitsu
cool.
and why she trains.
Yep.
But for the women's program, I mean, we have a lot of work to do to try to build it up. And,
Right.
You know, with Taylor and Amy, they're really doing a lot of good work, and
Yeah.
it would be awesome to add your wife to the
Well,
the collection.
That's what I tell the crew. I'm like, bring your guys' wives.
Yeah, man.
Let's make it like a
Grow it.
Saturday thing. Bring it,
Yeah.
grow the program, and be that.
and
that's my
like
plan.
we said, like, you know, it's easy for us to talk about it from our point of view of like a bunch of guys having
Right.
fun and like the military side of it. Like, you know how much fun it is to have a community, but women need that too. And I think
Yep,
for
you know,
sure.
when you lump it in with the benefits of self-defense and
Yep.
being able to protect yourself and all that, you know, they can build a really powerful community.
Yeah.
And they need representation of it, not us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
no,
need a
seriously.
community. We were saying when
Yeah.
we were on the trip, there was just
Yeah.
one moment we were all having too much fun on our trip, and Taylor was just like, "It'd be nice to have another girl here."
I mean, it'd be great. Like I want that for
Yep.
them too. Like you
Yeah.
know, like our stupid jokes and
Yep.
stuff. They have stupid jokes
Oh, yeah.
too.
No, for
Let them
sure.
talk about their stupid.
Oh, the
jokes.
girls
Oh, yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
have
But no,
stupid
I-
jokes.
You know what? So I would love that. Let's try. We should try. We have 3 girls right now I
man.
can think of.
That's good.
Taylor, Amy, and we could have Anna.
Yep.
Even Dakota. We'll throw Dakota.
Yep.
Dakota would love it.
Yep.
And I can bring my wife too.
Yeah, but
on the
like,
trips?
let's let them just do a podcast, short little podcast
That'd
where
be
they
fun.
like they can
a
pretend
woman's
to be
keep
us.
it rolling
I see if
episode.
they can make fun of us. And like,
Yep.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, it'd be painful.
But no,
It'd be,
but-
they'd crush us.
But no, they need, like you said, it's for everyone. But like, I told her, I'm like, honestly, like I want both of my kids to learn, but I'd rather
Yeah.
know my daughter. I want my daughter
sure,
to know
man.
it more than even him. You know, just
Yeah.
the self defense for all women it's important. Super
Yeah,
important.
and we'll keep growing that, and with the kids, and as your kids grow, right now
can't
they're still
wait.
little babies,
Soon,
but
yep.
you know when they get 3, 4, 5 years old,
Yeah,
it's
we'll
gonna-
get them out there.
yeah,
have some fun.
I'll probably switch. I'll still do the mornings, but then once the kids come around,
nighttime. You'll be able to help with the
Yeah,
kids.
I'll help
You'll have fun,
out,
man.
for
You'll be-
sure.
It,
Yeah.
It'll like, you know, we talked about. I think I talked about this with someone today about. Oh, it was with Big Nick.
Okay.
We were sitting down talking about. He's like obsessed with the guard right now.
Okay.
He watched
Awesome.
a couple matches over the weekend from Orlando.
Okay.
This guy named Roy Jones. You remember Roy Jones was getting called over?
Yes.
And I was like, Roy Jones Jr. But Roy Jones was a big heavyweight guy.
Okay.
Who had a really good guard.
Oh,
And-
what is he? He was. Yeah, he fought in
Yeah.
UFC, right?
No.
Or
I don't know. Maybe he did. but-
No, that Roy Nelson. You're thinking Roy
No,
Nelson, yeah.
no, this
I think
guy
Roy
Roy
Nelson.
Jones, and I don't know who Roy Jones. Hopefully, he listens. It's
Shout
just
out Roy Jones.
Roy
Yeah.
Jones. Roy Jones is just a big
Got some
heavyweight
sick
guy.
guard game, man.
Yeah, and Nick sent me his videos. He's like, "Hey, look at this big guy play guard."
Yep.
So Nick's like, "I'll do it." But the point of it is, you know, I was just saying, it's funny how like, and, you know, I've been doing jiu-jitsu now for like 19 years.
It's crazy.
And these
So long.
evolutions of like what I'm interested in, what gets me like really excited, it's gonna evolve. And like for you, when your kids get older,
Yeah.
who knows, man? You'll be back into like the gi. You're gonna love the gi again.
Yeah.
You're gonna love this or that.
I love them both, but like I think I don't know. I think I'm more at this point no-gi for sure. You know, but
that's
like
the phase of your life right now,
Yeah.
or your jiu-jitsu life, and that,
For
I think
sure.
it's important. You just kind of ride the waves.
Yeah.
And you know, hopefully you find something that you love, and you become proficient in that. For you know.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about jiu-jitsu, there's so much more.
Yeah.
No matter what.
I want to shout out even so talking about big guys. I got to do some rounds with Kenny. His guard was
Kenny's
good.
gotten a lot
No,
better,
it
huh?
his guard got really solid.
Maybe it's because he doesn't compete with a shirt on.
no, I think you're right.
That sounds about right. I mean, if the evidence says, the
Maybe you're
statistical
right.
evidence will say.
Man, that could be a
Yeah,
thing.
no, Kenny's gotten a lot better.
No, yeah, I was like, man, I told him after, I was like,
And
yeah.
maybe it's also, we could call it like, you know, you remember like I think you love John Madden. Remember
Yeah.
Madden? The
Yeah.
game?
Oh, he's the
Do you remember
man.
how there was like a Madden curse when they were on the?
On the front.
I think there's like a
A shirt curse?
no. I was gonna say there's a like the opposite.
clothes
There's like
curse?
a boost from going on the podcast.
Okay.
You
okay.
go on the podcast
maybe.
and you instantly just get a little bit better.
5-point stamina.
It takes a little time, but
Yeah.
you will jump levels.
Nice.
You're welcome.
We're gonna have to see.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
guys.
Good.
Thank you. I needed that level jump.
Awesome.
So if you want to get better at jiu-jitsu, jump on the podcast.
Come on the podcast.
I mean, look at
Come here.
Taylor,
Yep.
Sergio.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all Jay's
Kenny.
they're killing it.
Well, if you want to come on the podcast, that means you got to come and you got to roll.
You got to keep it
Gotta
rolling.
roll.
Yeah, that's the only way we keep it going.
Any last thoughts? Any other
No,
things?
man, this was seriously awesome.
Thank you.
First one I did. You guys, man, you guys are the best. So
Awesome.
it was-
Thank you, Marco. It was we didn't know who we were gonna do. Then we thought of you, and we thought this will be the perfect episode, especially for
vets.
Veterans Day being right here. So
I didn't think it's funny. I didn't even
That's
think of
why
that though.
yeah.
Yeah.
You asked me. See, that's how I'm like. I'm not even tracking. I'm like, oh yeah, it is Veterans Day. Because I'm like, wait, let me ask my wife first. She's like, oh yeah, go ahead. And I was super excited. I messaged you back. I'm like, oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wait, it's Veterans Day this week. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
We
I'm like,
got you.
You guys are organized. I'm
very
like,
cool.
We're trying. We're not actually.
we just go with the flow. We just keep it rolling, and the ball keeps rolling. You know.
like a baseball.
Yep.
Boo.
Boo.
No, I really enjoyed sitting down, talking, learning
So
more
did I,
about
man.
you.
This was fun. Got to hang out with the boys.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks to everyone who came into the competition class today. We got some really good hard rounds. Hopefully, we see everybody on Sunday
Yeah,
for the
Sunday
open mat.
Saturday, if anyone's coming, I know this probably won't be out by then. We'll probably post this tomorrow night, but
Yeah, if you can't, yeah. So Saturday we'll actually be past Anna getting a brown belt, but then we will discuss that for the Sunday
With her.
podcast. So thank you for joining us for this one. We're just going to keep it rolling off the mat, and we'll see you next week.